Welcome to the Legendary Upside YouTube channel and podcast. My name is Pat Corain. You can follow all of my content at legendaryupside.com. With me today, Rich Hribar for our Angles and Upside podcast. Rich, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's mid-October, week 7.
Yeah.
This is like managed league, like halfway home, and it feels like it's like still so fluid. There's so many injuries, and then we're getting guys back this week, which is fun. So we're at that point too, where like guys got hurt and now are coming back from being hurt.
Yeah, that's true. The
So,
the one, and I'm getting the point, like there's some walkthrough stuff now where I'm like, these guys, like, what they do, so
right.
we're getting to that part of the season, but it is still like, there's still, there's a number of spots. We'll get to some spots here where I'm like, I don't know that we do know some of these teams yet. Like there are defenses that I think are overrated, and there's some spots that are like teams that have dealt with so many injuries where things are pretty fluid. So we're trying to figure out which version of them we're getting, and yeah, we are in trend season. We'll have enough
Yeah.
data to where we can start, look at how this guy's over the last 3 weeks season. We're
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So yeah. So I like that you can start parsing the data a little bit more instead of just like, here's all the data we have.
Right. And I love that because some of that stuff just changes on the fly. Like, you remember, like last
Yep.
year,
Yep.
it wasn't at this point. It was like 2 weeks before this point. But like, remember, like the Eagles opened up last year as like a historically bad defense, and then they were
Mm.
like literally the best defense in the NFL for
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the final 11 weeks. And
There's always
we're gonna
teams
have
like that.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Panthers run D is now like good.
I know it's like at least noteworthy, like where you're like, hey man, like this is like 3 weeks in a row where like they're
Yeah.
smushing the run because especially when we get to that game, because we're expecting Brees Hall to get like a huge workload out of necessity. But
Yeah.
like
What else are they going to do?
yeah,
Right.
and I was out at Davis and I think you do the show with Davis Neal, and he called it like that's
Yeah.
gonna be a service academy game.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I agree with him on.
Like Army versus Navy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. All right, let's kick it off with the Raiders at Chiefs, which I have Rashee Rice as the cover boy this week of the walkthrough. Obviously, he's coming back, and I think he's coming back in a pretty awesome spot for his skill set and for the offense as a whole. I noted that the Raiders play a ton of play a ton of zone covers. They don't really play much man at all, and Rashee Rice has been awesome against zone. And we've got this, the Raiders are just a bad defense in general. So we should see Mahomes having a lot of success here. Um, some question of how much Rice will play here. Fowler did have a quote that, he's going to have a big workload right away. And then Reed made fun of that when they asked him how much he's going to play. He said, ask Jeremy. So we'll see. But yeah, to the zone point, Rice has a 28% targets per out run against zone since 2023, and 3.08 yards per out run. Over that span, only Puka Nacua at 3.10 has a higher yards per out run against zone. He's also been great against cover 3, which the Raiders play at a very high rate, the second highest rate in the league at 46%. And against cover 3, Rice 29% targets per out run and 3.32 yards per out run. Again, only Puka Nacua more efficient since 2023. So this, yeah, I'm just like, it's kind of a Rice game plan sort of game. And obviously he's been, he was so good last year. We're kind of all hoping for that like mini Puka level breakout to continue in this game. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it makes sense that he is so good against zone because when you think of how he's operated in that offense, near the line of scrimmage, big yak guy, lower ADOT player. But I'm excited to see how it all fits together because we thought we might have to wait to this point to like start believing in the Chiefs, and it already started a couple weeks ago, kind of when Worthy came back. Because we're starting to see like ceiling Mahomes is back. Like Mahomes was like in the last couple of years, even when we get like a QB1 scoring week, it would be like QB8, QB11,
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
now we're seeing like he has 25 or more fantasy points in 4 of the opening 6 games. Now, some of that is like he's been running more and you're getting some of those rushing touchdowns, but we've also seen his completion rate, go up. He's coming off a season high yards per pass attempt. Like everything's just been trending, like snowballing forward.
It's everything because he's running more, he's passing better. He gets Rice back, so now we're more excited about the passing efficiency. And they're passing like the Chiefs. They've had last 2 weeks 14% pass rate over expected against the Jaguars, 14% again against the Lions. They were at 17% on 1st and 10 against the Jaguars, 12% against the Lions. They have a 10% pass rate of expected this season, which is twice as high as the Chargers, who are in second place. And so you get the volume. You look at the efficiency, which this is EPA per game, so volume factors in a bit as well. But Mahomes is up to quarterback 8 in EPA per game and quarterback 7 in success rate. With a 9.6 EPA per game this year, he's kind of in line with where Joe Burrow was last year. If you look at Mahomes' play last year, it's in line with where CJ Stroud is this year. So like last year Mahomes versus this year Mahomes, it's like literally like this year CJ Stroud versus last year Joe Burrow. You know, that's the level. And that's before he gets Rice back. And he gets a great matchup. So it's easy to get excited about him here.
Yeah. Sorry to all the people that are like, exhausted by the Chiefs and still want this. They're looking like it's getting better.
Yeah.
So sorry. Here we are again. Yeah. It's an exciting matchup. I mean, they're huge favorites against a team that really doesn't rush the passer, even though like Max Crosby and Mahomes have like this little rivalry. But
Right.
from a DFS perspective, Rice is going to be really popular on DraftKings. FanDuel at least had some religion and priced them up. It's also on a slate too, like this week, where the main slate is kind of void of like a lot of top receivers on the season. JSN is on Monday night. Puka's not, he wouldn't have been on it anyways, but they play in London. Drake London is on Sunday night. Like all these top guys. So it does really kind of come together for like Rice to kind of hit the ground running in terms of excitement. And it does make kind of Xavier Worthy kind of fun for like, tournament play and stuff, or just playing with. It's not even like you have to fade Rice. You can play him with, Mahomes too, because Mahomes is playing at that level. Last year, we have never been like, hey, try to double stack Mahomes with like you never did. It was always just Rice because Mahomes wasn't operating at that high level to take two guys.
And Worthy wasn't there yet.
Yeah. And so yeah, there's some like maybe like when you look at like the top end like targets that Rice had last year, we should expect those to maybe have some volatility because we haven't seen any single play with Rice, Worthy, Kelsey, and Hollywood Brown on the field together yet. But all off season, the organization has talked about how like Rashee Rice is like their leader in the wide receiver room. Like this passing game is going to run through him. So we're going to get a chance to see proof of concept. It's in a great spot. I think you should be excited to insert him in lineups. I think you should be excited to play him. But also, like I said, just don't overlook Worthy because I think the way Mahomes is playing, there's someone else coming along for this ride with a 30-point team total.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of those, as I was like looking into it, I was like, yeah, I think, maybe they'll work him back slow, but he's definitely a wide receiver too. It's like, well, they seem like he can play him a decent amount. He's probably high end. Wow, this is a great match. It's probably low end. And it's like by the end, I was like, he's a wide receiver one, baby. Like I'm ready. I'm ready to trust Rashee Rice in lineups. I'm going to be playing him in DFS. I compared Xavier Worthy in the walkthrough, and this probably seems derogatory, but I don't think it's that derogatory. But I compared him to Jordan Addison in his profile. First read target rate of 15%. Addison's been at 13%, but Addison has Jefferson on the field, and Worthy hasn't had Rice on the field. And Worthy's been earning targets at a better rate. He's got a 23% targets per run to Addison's 17%. But I think some of that like second read stuff is probably going to go to Rice. That's like, that's his kind of superpower. He gets open underneath, and Mahomes knows where to find him. So I think, but like if you think about double stacking him here, like if you think of Rice as kind of the Jefferson, but he's not as much of a downfield guy. He's more of an underneath. He's more of an Amon-Ra than a Jefferson in terms of archetype. And then Worthy is kind of maybe your Jameson, but a little bit more trustworthy. A bigger part of the offense, a better version of a Jameson play. You could do that double stack at these prices. So I do have some interest in that. Most of my interest is Rice. He's gonna be very chalky in DFS.
Oh yeah. On DraftKings, he's going to be real popular.
But so what? Like we don't have Puka,
so what?
I'm playing him. And we don't have JSN, right? JSN's on.
No, JSN's Monday night, a 10 p.m. Eastern start. So apologies, East Coast dads. That's gonna be a tough one for us.
I don't like if you're gonna doubleheader Monday night, overlap them. The point is that I get the two screens. I want the split screen. I don't want to have to watch two island games back to back. That's the worst. That's the worst.
And you're West Coast. I know you're not like a Rams guy, but the Rams play in London. Like, what is everyone doing there? Like getting up at 5:30 and watching the Rams?
It's 6:30. Yeah, and it's awful. I'm sick of it. It's kind of fun. Like early in like a week 4 London game is fun because you're still like, if football's on, like I will change everything in my life to make sure I watch it. But by like week 7, you're like, oh, I've done this how many weeks in a row? And
I think
6:30
this is
in
the
the
last
morning.
one, right? Is it? I can't remember.
It's time. It's time to end it.
But I feel bad when
We don't need these
the
games.
West Coast teams are over there because the fan bases just like have to get up so early.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
What on the Raiders side of this game? Like the big concern I would say, especially from DFS, you know, do we have the upside from Mahomes double stack, right? Well, the reason that would fail, or one of the reasons, would be the Raiders just don't push them at all, and they have a pretty low implied team total, just 17. And you've got, Geno really struggling this year. His efficiency is very similar to Bryce Young and Justin Fields on the season, which seems impossible given how bad Fields was last week, but he's had his moments too. Geno, yeah, he's turning the ball over a bunch. This isn't a great defensive matchup. Like the Chiefs are pretty solid. So not an ideal spot. Jacoby Myers is banged up. Bowers isn't going to play. Uh, I At the same time, if you look from like a fantasy perspective, Gentie's been playing more on receiving downs recently, and he's been targeted at a much higher rate. He has 17% target share in week 5 and 18% last week, and he was up to 79% of snaps last week. So I'm like, if Gentie's out there all the time, isn't he like kind of Chan? Like, is that where we're headed with him? Where like we could get there as a receiver, even if he doesn't. He's only at 0.71 yards per hour, and so that might be optimistic, but it's kind of like trending toward that role. And then the other guy on the Raiders side that's somewhat interesting is Michael Mayer, who had 80% route participation and a 35% targets per route run, and he could just kind of accumulate volume. So do you see the Raiders maybe beating this team total, or are they just going to flop here?
I mean, they always give the Chiefs kind of one hell game. I don't know if this will be it or not. But they've really tried to hide Geno, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that here. So the past 3
No.
weeks, they actually have the lowest drop back rate in neutral game script in the NFL the past 3 weeks because they're just not able to do that here as huge road underdogs. Like they're going to have to drop back and have drop backs, and we don't know if Myers is even going to play, if they're going to hold him out because maybe they're trying to trade him through
They're trying
the
to trade
bye
him, I think.
week. Like
Yeah.
Obviously in season long stuff, you're just playing JT. Like you just are. It's not a desirable spot though. On the road, low team total. You hope you can catch enough passes. 2 weeks ago when they got blown out in Indianapolis, that's kind of like how he saved his game, right? Like he had the seven targets, 5 catches, 40 yards in the Indianapolis game. That's what you're hoping for this game. You hope maybe you luck box into a touchdown, right? It's like, but you're not bringing him along with any Chief stacks, right? Mayer would be like the only guy to bring as like maybe a cheap tight end play because he played 80% of the dropbacks last week and had 7 targets in a game where like they only had 25 dropbacks. So if we're talking about the Chiefs, like the Chiefs face inherently just on base rate 35 dropbacks per game. If we're gonna have they have to just drop back and throw. Those 7 targets could turn into maybe 9, maybe 11 targets. And then you're talking about, hey, even if it's not like the most glowing matchup, you're going to take a tight end with double that can push double digit targets like anytime, especially from a DFS perspective. So he's really the only guy I have some mild interest in DFS. Trey Tucker had already outscored Jacoby Myers in 3 of the past 4 weeks anyways, but we kind of know what we have with Trey Tucker too.
Right.
It's kind of like that boom bust vertical threat. So not just a spot where I'm really into the Raiders altogether outside of like Mayer and like you just know what you're doing at JT.
I do think Mayer is intriguing because, as we'll get to, Harold Fannin is opened up with David Njoku being ruled out, and on DraftKings he's 3,900 and Mayer's 3,500, and Mayer looked like he was going to be like, medium chalk, and now I don't think people really go to him. So I mean, some people will. He's not going to be like completely unowned, but for 400 more, you can get Fannin. I think it's going to be more fun to go to him, and he's going to project better. So. Yeah, Mayer's kind of an interesting guy who could get a little bit lost in the shuffle, and it's kind of it makes sense as a bring back option where the Chiefs are kind of pouring it on, and the Raiders just have to just have kind of.
How do you feel about
shallow volume.
Kelsey with Rice coming back? Because he started to look better, and then now, like, because the start of last year, their splits were because of where Rice earns his targets. Like, he kind of rendered Kelsey kind of minute last year.
That's the thing that I think really hurts Kelsey is that like Rice does the Kelsey thing better than Kelsey now. So I think you're betting on them to score touchdowns, and like I can see, you can see Mahomes does a little scramble around, finds Kelsey, hits him on the 6-yard line. Kelsey stiff arms the linebacker, scoots into the end zone. You're like, oh, he got there. You can see it, but I don't know. It's not someone that I'm that excited about. He's not like super cheap. Like if Kelsey drops in a couple weeks because Rice is kind of eating his lunch, then it'd be more fun. I'm basically saying I want 4,100 Kelsey is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Can we do that? Yeah. I think because on the slate in particular, I think it's going to be a lot of pay down for the two cheap guys, and there's a couple other cheap guys still on the board that I think will draw some interest. And I think if I want to pay up, I want it to be for Warren or McBride. Although Marv looks like he's going to play now.
Oh, does he? Okay.
He was out of the non-contact jersey, so all the people think like he's going to get cleared. So
okay, that's big. I now regret looking up Xavier Weaver's season-long stat line.
No, you did it for the people.
Xavier Weaver. I was like, they've got Zay Jones, Michael Wilson, and then Zay Jones was back-to-back DNP. So I was like, great. I got to figure out who is.
He also
not Greg Dortch. Oh, okay. All right. I was like, well, who's playing if it, and it's Xavier Weaver, and he has one target on the season. It's 27 yards downfield. So it's like, well,
yeah. We do this. We record this for everyone that knows, like Friday afternoon, and like so we're like in the middle of like trying to just see like who's practicing and who's not
practicing. Yeah. All right. Let's move to I guess do you have anything on the backfield for the Chiefs or not?
No, I mean, so like they even mentioned it during the broadcast about trying to get Isaiah Pacheco more touches, and they've been doing that in terms of snaps and stuff. But like he still has no pipeline to like stuff that matters for fantasy football, which is unfortunate. Like he has looked better and he's gotten more snaps and he's been more efficient running the ball, but all he's doing is getting like more handoffs. Kareem Hunt is still getting all the inside the 10 stuff, and they're not really throwing to either of these guys.
No.
So
yeah, it's pretty gross. Pacheco is like, I think, going to get played a little bit in DFS because it's not the best week for like the running backs in kind of his range. He's at 5,000.
Yeah. His rushing yard player prop would probably be the only thing I would look at for him.
Yeah.
I think it's like 43 and a half.
Is Pacheco ever winning me a tournament this year? Like, I just don't see it. Yeah.
No, they like you mentioned it. Even without Rice, I mean, dude, they're number one in neutral dropback rate. Like, it's funny because we watched the Thursday night game and you see Jamar Chase get all these targets, and when you look at the Chiefs, you're like, oh yeah, of course they run the offense through Patrick Mahomes. But we take these things for granted when they happen. Like this is these are a $1 billion industry run by like multi-million-dollar like organizations, and like this stuff actually doesn't happen to the degree you think it should. Like Jamar Chase getting targeted all this times, or hey, we have Patrick Mahomes. Maybe we should just like let him win the game for us. Like we take these things for granted because it doesn't happen all the time.
I mean, we're blessed that he ended up with Andy Reid. There's like someone would have turned him into what they're doing with Sam Darnold this year. Like there are coaches in the league who are like, oh, he'd be so much better if he only threw 20 times a game. So I'm just very thankful.
Yeah, like when Sean McVay's just dialing up play after play for Puka, we take that stuff for granted, man. Like,
yeah, we do. Well, speaking of last year, we had a great quarterback with a horrible coach who didn't have any idea to use him, and now we get Drake May with Josh McDaniels, who actually knows how to design an offense, and he's cooking. We get the Patriots going against the Titans here. Patriots have a 24.25 implied team total. The Patriots stuff. Do you want to talk about the last week OPI calls, or should I?
Man, the phantom calls. I don't know how
They didn't throw a flag, Rich, on the Demario Douglas touchdown. One, They didn't throw a flag. Then later they were like, I don't think it counts. You're like, why?
I still don't know why.
You know what it was? I'm sick enough that I figured out why. They said their official explanation was that Stephon Diggs, who was getting it was press coverage,
Yeah.
he can't get off the cornerback. He basically gives up on the route. He kind of like fights up with the cornerback a little bit and then stops. The ref logged in his brain he was blocking.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if there's going to be a throw, then I'm going to flag. He didn't throw the flag because I guess he needed to wait and to see if a pass was thrown. But then it was going to be like illegal blocking downfield, which is just like completely wrong. Like he
Yeah.
was fully running a route, and the guy was initiating the contact with him, the cornerback. I'm not tilted. Don't put it in the paper.
Yeah.
I'm mad, Rich. They they absolutely cooked the Saints, which will come up later when we talk about the Bears. But it was even better game for May than it looked. But even with May getting robbed of that play and another Stephon Diggs catch, it should have counted. He's quarterback 1 in EPA per game right now. He's just ahead of Dak Prescott. His success rate is awesome. He is looking really, really strong in the numbers, and he gets a Titans pass defense that does not have a good pass rush. Jeffrey Simmons is awesome, but
Yeah.
the rest of the guys are not so good, and you've got May. Like, as much as I do think May is awesome, the offensive line isn't great, and May takes sacks when pressured, and May likes to big play hunt downfield, so he will take longer to throw than maybe he ought to at certain points. So I think he's a little bit matchup dependent right now. But this is one of those matchups where you can see May really having another awesome game. He was a tournament winning quarterback last week. He's not the most stackable guy. Stephon Diggs is banged up. He's questionable play, so we'll see if he even goes. So it's kind of like we're back to Hunter Henry, I guess, as a stacking partner. Maybe naked Drake May. So it's not the most like enticing DFS spot, but like writing this game up, Drake May is going to have another good game here, I think.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they'll be able to run the football at all in this game, because right now they're second in passing EPA as an offense, and they're dead last in rushing EPA. Some of that is the fumbles, like the actual turnovers in the run game. And nobody's like really throwing on the Titans because they don't have to. Like,
Right.
They face the 10th fewest pass attempts per game. When teams are throwing on them, they're 28th in completion rate allowed, 23rd in yards per pass.
They
So it's like
suck at defending the
you're not
pass.
scared of the
No.
matchup in a sense. You're like, so I'm very curious to see like if the Patriots are just like, hey, well, we aren't a good running team. Maybe they just aren't a good running team against anyone either. So maybe they just swerve in like, hey, we're just going to build out the lead through May, and then we'll see if we can try to establish something. Or if they look at this spot and they say, hey, the Titans, man, they haven't stopped anyone. Especially because we talked about it last week. Like, it's not even that teams are running on the Titans. It's like these absolutely just like dormant running games. Like,
Yeah.
the Cardinals like running out their like their third, fourth, and fifth stringers against them and getting 180 yards, right? Like, or Woody Marks going crazy against them. So like, I'm curious how they handle this spot, because we've been kind of waiting to see like, is like Travion going to get involved? Is Ramondre going to get ramped up? Like, neither of these guys have done anything in the run game. And like you brought up their offensive line, the run games, the offensive line's not good. So I'm very curious to see how this matchup just gets handled from that aspect. I mean, you're obviously not like going and playing any of those guys in DFS. I'm just very curious to see if they try to use this matchup to like establish a run for the first time.
I think they might. And that could be kind of frustrating at points. But I think, this stuff doesn't always matter, but I think in this case it definitely matters. Mike Vrabel was fired by this team.
Yeah.
And Mike Vrabel is the type of guy.
We have a few
of
these spots this week too, which are there's a heavy narrative slate.
Davis pointed out a really, really fun one that
the Rattler one?
The Rattler one, yeah. But yeah, I think Vrabel really cares. We also saw Stephon, like he fully, had Stephon Diggs going for the Bills one, and we know Diggs was fired up about that. Like, this part of the project here with Vrabel, I think is changing the culture, and I think caring about beating this team is part of that. Getting his revenge. I don't think they're going to mess around here. Like this, they're not going to Packers it up and try to win by 3, and then, oh no, we threw an interception and lose. And this is also this game has a loss to the Raiders. They've lost to the Steelers. They can lose to anybody. This is not like a great team. They still have holes. They're a fun
they're building
team.
up.
Yeah, they're getting there, but I I think that they're going to take this game seriously in a way that like maybe another team of a similar talent level might not. And, they're not, this is not the Cardinals. They're not, now watch them go lose. But I think, they're going to be, if the run game is like struggling, I don't expect them to bang their head against the wall
Correct.
here.
Yeah.
I think they will pivot to what they know will work, which is May. Now, I think the way this probably gets bad for them is that like Jeffrey Simmons just plays out of his mind, and the Patriots offensive line is still, it's not what it was last year when it was atrocious, but it is not good. And May does take sacks. So that's probably the biggest concern that I have on the Patriots side. And then if you combine that with them like wasting a couple drives with the run game, maybe this game gets away from them. But the problem for the Titans is that like how are they going to score points? I looked up this week, and I'll share
This
this
roster,
chart.
man.
Yeah, but you know what? I think, can we talk about like the fact that Cam Ward's probably awful?
Yeah, you
Are we
gave him a window last week. You said you were gonna give him a window.
I
You
gave him
said
the
this
window.
was the test. You were like, this is the test.
And you know what? He didn't deliver. So here's every quarter. So I went NFL Fast Star goes back to 1999. So this is 250 plays career. And you can see at the top here, we got Mahomes, we got Manning, we got Breeze, we got Allen, Brady, Rodgers, Jaden Daniels is up there. He's having an incredible start. Drake May's not too far down. Brock Purdy, all these really efficient quarterbacks. And then we've got, let me zoom back in. We've got Cam Ward down here at the bottom, below Josh Rosen, who is important for a reason that we'll get to soon. And then way below, this is Will Levis. It's like, it's him. I don't even know who A. Walter is. Ryan Lindley's
Andrew
down
Walter.
here.
Andrew Walter.
Andrew Walter.
Yeah,
Okay.
for the Raiders.
Okay. Chris Sims is up here, We've got John, is it John Skelton? He stunk. Zach Mettenberger. Zach Wilson's up here. Deshaun Kaiser, Blaine Gabbert. Like, the worst of the worst weren't as bad as Cam Ward has been. Now, it's still early. He's a rookie. Some of these guys were putting up this type of efficiency as veterans. He will presumably get better over the course of his career. But like, this is about as bad a start to a career as you could like have possibly worried, was on the table. And I don't know. I mean, like, it feels like people are so, Ward, he's in a bad situation. I think he stinks. I think Ward's bad. I'm ready to say it. No one's willing to say it. I think he's bad. Most likely Ward's bad. Are we? Why can't we say that?
Probably most likely. Yeah, I think it's just fair to say it now. I'm willing to give some runway here because we've seen some of these guys like be like so bad. Like remember like when Jordan Love filled in for Aaron Rodgers and you're like, oh
horrible.
my God, what is this? Like, so I mean, and like the infrastructure for the Titans obviously is kaput.
It's terrible.
They already fired their head coach. It's October 17th. But in terms of like I have like a boom bust rate in like True Media, the filter. So like boom plays are plays that generate 1 EPA or more, like a full point EPA or more. And he's dead last in that. He's at 16.2% of his dropbacks. The league average rate for guys that qualify for quarterback rating is 24%. And on the flip side of that, he has the highest bust rate, which is plays that lose 1 EPA or worse. So he's dead last in that too. So he's just living bust, bust the no boom, all bust. Like it's real bad, man. And now you remove Calvin Ridley from the offense.
Yeah.
And like it's Van Jefferson, Io Manor, who is like a one-on-one clasher
fine.
right now.
Yeah.
Like, but like he has like no nuance as a receiver. Like, and like you have like a split now between Chikakonkwo and
Gunnar Helm.
There you have a split backfield now against the team that's awesome against the run. All that money the Patriots spent on the defensive front seven is like playing out on
Milton Williams has been awesome.
Spillane has been not great in pass coverage, but good against the red. You got him to stop the run though. Like they've been incredible against the run. They haven't faced like the greatest schedule, but like we saw them like against the Bills 2 weeks ago, nuke them. So I actually believe like
Landry might be out, but he's been a passer. He's been kind of whatever against the run. So that's not a huge loss.
I really can't see the Titans running the football on him because that maybe is like what you're hoping for like Cam Ward. So like last year when Caleb Williams, when like Waldron got fired and all those guys got fired and like Thomas Brown took over, there was like an immediate bump, but there was like talented players involved. Like Where are the talented players for like to help out or like to facilitate anything here? I don't.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
There's like been some stuff about like the trade, like trade candidates, and people have brought up Titans. I'm like, what? Why would the Titans be trading away anyone? Like the Titans need people coming in. They don't have anything. So they probably should trade Jeffrey Simmons though, and
Yeah,
I don't know, figure out something on the offensive line. They need offensive help badly. Um, the reason that Josh Rosen is relevant is that the last time we saw Mike McCoy calling plays for an offense, it was for Josh Rosen.
incredible.
And now the biggest first round bust like ever, or at least, in the last 15 years. And now we get him. He's not actually calling plays. Their quarterback coach, not the OC. So they had a head coach who was an offensive head coach and an OC. And who called plays? The quarterback coach. That's how you know things are going good. And so he's still calling plays. But and the OC is still the OC. I think Mike McCoy, like he was some kind of like senior offensive assistant, and basically like, hey, you've coached before, so
Yeah,
you be
please
the head
step in.
coach. Everyone else can stay doing their same stuff, so don't have to like overload these guys who haven't been head coaches before, and it's a lot to take on. So it's probably smart enough. Like it makes sense to have if you're going to fire Callahan, you might as well hand it to McCoy because he wasn't in charge of the offense or whatever. But this is a dumpster fire, man. I
It
mean,
is. It's a lost year for a rookie quarterback. Like it's already like a punt year. And he might be like put in a situation where like you can't recover from this because you
yeah.
develop bad habits. You do like
So I've been looking into the quarterback class a little bit, and it's not very good. I don't think so. This isn't. I don't think this will be a
it's
Josh
very
Rosen
mixed for
situation.
people.
Yeah, it's too early to say for sure.
Yes.
Like someone could emerge, but it doesn't look promising. So I don't think they like take a guy, number one. Maybe
Oh
they
no,
bring him
they'll
in and
like
have
make
them
a
run pick.
hire that's like
Yeah,
like the Bears did. They're gonna try to do like something like that this offseason. You would believe, right? Like you would say they're gonna
yeah.
try to hire an offensive quarterback, facilitator to try to max out this rookie contract. But you already wasted a whole year. They're like,
Here's my advice to Josh Grizzard: don't do it.
ah,
Don't do it.
don't do
Wait another year. You got Baker. You'll be good again 2026. See what's available in
yeah.
2027. Don't do it.
Yeah, do the Ben
Don't do it.
Johnson approach. Just wait until you
Yeah,
get all the money.
wait it out. I'm skipping this. This is a pass for me. I'm not going. Don't be the guy who goes to try to save Cam Ward as your head. I got a job. I got a chance to coach in the NFL. I was a head coach in the NFL. How'd it go? Well, I picked Cam Ward. Didn't go great. I
Pain.
did say now I've talked a lot of crap. The efficiency's been so bad that by sheer variance alone, things should turn in Cam Ward's favor. It's possible that he does. It's very likely that at some point this season he has a good game, maybe even a really good game. And it looks like I'm a total fool. I anticipate that he will make this look like an overly bearish take at some point, but big picture, like long term, I think like at this point, I think they would be lucky if he turns into what Spencer Rattler is doing. Different stylistically, but like if you could get that kind of efficiency out of Ward, that would be like a big win at this point. I'm pretty out. Eagles Vikings. The Eagles have been passing over the last couple weeks. It has not gone well though. What are your thoughts on the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, just that it's very clear when you watch the Eagles, like this is a team just going through an identity crisis. Like they're trying to find out what their actual identity is. I mean, through the first 4 games, they were below pass rate expectations, like you said, and then week 6 they were 5% over. Last week, or they were 5% over last week, 19% the week before the Broncos game, and that's like really kind of reduced Saquon Barkley's touches. This would be a spot to maybe flip back, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you what they're planning right now. Landon Dickerson is coming back. It's a very intriguing though because as bad as it's gone, like you can kind of look at some of the stuff and say like it's actually been okay for us as like fantasy gamers. I mean, definitely people that took say AJ Brown in the second, third round and took Saquon in the first round will disagree. But like Jalen Hurts is still scoring fantasy points every week. So like you still feel like you don't feel great about the matchup or what the Eagles are doing, but like he keeps scoring points. And like it's like, well, what are they gonna do, man? Just what's the game plan this week? Kevin Patullo. None of us should even know who Kevin Patullo is, and it's a bummer
We
that
all do.
like everyone hates him. Like the only thing he's done is get Dallas Goddard targets, but like cool. Like
It does suck, man. You're like, hey, I'm gonna take over as OC. Cool. A month later, everyone hates your guts.
yeah, because nobody knew who he was, and now everyone knows him for the worst reasons.
Yeah. I mean, it is bad, man. Like I don't think I included the chart in here. Let me pull it up. But like they are like not doing any of the stuff that you're
No,
supposed to do.
none of the stuff.
None of the stuff. They like motion and play action. Like they rank 29th in play action per dropback. They're 28th in motion rate. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Isn't this supposed to be built around like say especially the play action stuff? And they
Well,
haven't been
it's
efficient on their
because
play
they're
action dropbacks either.
yeah, it's because they're just exclusive shotgun team, and we saw this with Kyler
Number
being
one,
out.
number one.
We saw it with
I'm ready
Kyler
to
being
start
out
them.
last week. Like when you just get a quarterback that can play under center, what does it unlock? Like you can do more of that stuff, like the
Yeah,
stuff that's actual cheat code. So there's a little chicken and egg stuff, but with the way
with
Jalen Hurts
Hurts.
does play, but like
Yeah.
Kellen Moore incorporated, a good amount of that stuff and was able to work around it. Like there still is an answer. Like it can't be all or nothing, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But this week they get the Vikings, who are number one in blitz rate. Hurts has been the most blitz quarterback. Hasn't been great against the blitz. The Vikings are the most efficient blitzing team when
He's
you
even
look at
worse against
EPA per
zone
dropback.
blitzes, which is all Brian Flores does.
Not great. So now you've got look, here's the thing I'm wondering is do the Eagles just go, you know what? Who needs the passing game? We're going to get Saquon Barkley. You talk about the Patriots might try to get their run game going. Maybe. I feel like the Eagles have to do that here. Have to. They're
Yeah.
going against a Vikings team that's how you play them because they're not great against the run. They're 23rd in DVOA, 25th in EPA, 19th in success rate. Teams are averaging a 54% pass rate against them, which is, kind of where the Eagles would like to be, but they've had to pass more recently. They have a minus 5%. Vikings opponents have a minus 5% PROE. They're shifting in PROE 4% to the run from their average. So this profiling is a legitimate run funnel.
Mhm.
The Bears had a 68% pass rate against the Vikings in week 1. Then we've seen 40% by the Falcons, 61% by the Bengals, where Bengals went minus 9% PROE. That's not what the Bengals do against the Vikings. And then Steelers
That's
are
a
at
Jake Browning game.
48%.
They were like,
Yeah.
after Jake Browning gave them 28 points, they were like, well, maybe we just don't have this guy throw again.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And the Browns last week had a 52% pass rate, minus 11% pass rate over expected. Like there's a way you play this Vikings defense, and it's the way the Eagles want to get back to playing. I think we see a ton of Barkley here. He hasn't been efficient this season, but like, I don't know, if he's got any of the 2024 juice left, this would be the spot to show it, right?
I still think he looked fine, like from a health stance. Like the opening 2 carries the last week's game, he goes for what 18 and 14, and you're like, all right, it's finally moving downhill, and they can just get away from the run. Both guards played terrible in that game the rest of the way too. I think he had 10 carries for 27 yards after that. Dickerson is back. They asked Brian Flores about this, the bye, like, well, what'd you do to fix the run game? He's like, well, we watched a lot of film. He's like, there's really nothing to fix except for we need to tackle better and get off blocks better. It's like, well, okay. Like sure. He basically was just like, we need to play better. Like
Play
there's
better,
like,
yeah.
I can't fix anything. Like these guys need to do better at
I
their
respect
jobs.
it, man. You've got like the best pass defense in the league. It's like, hey, could you guys tackle somebody in the run game, and then we have the best defense?
Because
It seems fair.
before the bye, they allow 128 total yards to Quinshon Judkins, and he had a 40-yard touchdown called back in that
Yep.
game.
Yep.
And then the week before that in London, Kenneth Gainwell goes for
Yeah.
134 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, if this is not the spot for Saquon, I don't know, like, if we're gonna have other ones. Like, it
If
feels like
Saquon doesn't
it's
go off here, I'm pulling up his efficiency and I'm doing the Cam Ward. I'm gonna do a whole
nah.
diatribe about how he's washed now.
Well,
No, I'm
so
kidding. But this is where doesn't this look so obvious in retrospect? It was like, oh yeah, of course Barkley went nuts here. This was the breakout game.
he
It's
was
like
my show with Hilo. We do a segment called Hidden Hammers. and it's like hammers of the slate. And I was like, my guy is Saquon. He's actually hiding in plain sight, but like, he's not going to be played because of he's been bad. Two,
Mhm.
it's going to be a massively chalky week for Quinshon Judkins. Gamers are still going to
Yep.
get to Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs in
Brees
good
Hall.
spots. Yeah, Brees Hall's popping like every optimal. So like, man, I'm like, this is a spot. Like, it's the matchup is here. He's going to be low owned. Like, we got to swing, right? We have
We
to,
got
like,
to swing.
we got to
I think we got
swing.
to swing.
We at least got to get in the batter's box here. Like, we might strike out, but like, we got like everything is here. Low owned matchups on the board. It's an indoor game. Like it's an early game too. Like all the popular games like are on the late slate. So it's like you have this guy. It's everything sets up to where you'd want to make this swing. Will it work out? I don't know, but I feel like it's a swing we have to make.
I agree. The other thing is that the Eagles are coming off a loss to the Giants, right? Like the vibes are bad. But you look at, and then you also have Wentz has played pretty well, and the Eagles defense hasn't been that great,
At least functional.
including against
Where
Jackson Dart.
JJ McCarthy was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right. But he's still Carson Wentz fundamentally. And you have the Eagles didn't have Jalen Carter against the Giants, and then they lost Quinyon Mitchell during the game.
Yep.
And they're expected to. Carter's been practicing in full, and then Mitchell got in a full practice on Thursday. We'll see what he does today. It's a hamstring injury, so like it's like a little bit, touch and go. But if he gets in another full practice, like he's good. So that's a big deal. Quinyon Mitchell is good and keeps Adoree Jackson off the field, who as soon as he was on the field against the Giants, they were like, and he's literally been benched. He stinks. So keeping him off the field.
And Ringo's terrible. Like when they asked Vic Fangio on I think it was Tuesday's like presser, they were like, well, if Mitchell can't play, like who's up? Is it gonna be Adoree or is it gonna be Ringo? And he just kind of like internalized himself, like processing. It's like, guess it's gonna be Adoree. Because Ringo's been terrible too. Like it's been awful.
Yeah.
So like it's one of these things too, where like because they don't want to move DeJean. But like, I feel like they have to. Like, I feel like they eventually have to.
The outside.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, Ringo has been bad. So yeah, I mean, it's not.
And the dude they traded for from the Raiders hasn't really played. I forget his name. He played it like week. Is it? I can't. Right before the season, they traded for him. I can't remember who it was. I lost it. I'm not gonna try to pull it up off the top of my head.
Bennett?
Yeah,
no, he's
Bennett.
hurt. Oh, he's on IR.
Yeah, he's hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, if Mitchell and Carter being back, and Wentz being Wentz, like this is all again, and kind of like, oh yeah. In retrospect, the Eagles defense getting two key pieces back, going against Carson Wentz, and having a obvious rushing funnel type of matchup with Saquon Barkley needing to get going, and then being pushed off of what they normally want to do for 2 weeks and losing both games. They come in here and they get back to Eagles football and they win going away with good defense and running the ball. Like I just can see it. I mean, I don't want to completely count the Vikings out here. I think that, the script that I laid out is not like set in stone, but there's a way where it's like, yeah, tournament winning type of performance from Barkley. And he's helped actually by the defense getting him the ball back and then being able to front run. So, it requires going against what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, but they had some injuries against the Giants and they lost to the Broncos. There's no shame in that. Broncos have an awesome defense and
they were up 17. To be fair,
offense.
like we joke about, like we looked at that game plan afterwards and everyone was dunking on it, but like they were up 17-0 and like it was working. Like it wasn't like pretty, but like if Hurts hits that one throw to AJ Brown, like they're up 24-0 at that point and like the door might be closed. But like it was kind of working. Like what they were doing structurally against the Broncos was working. And I'll be honest, on Thursday night they were fine too until the second half, and then it was a disaster.
Yeah,
I mean that interception was gut wrenching.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I'll be honest. I was rooting for the Giants there. The vibes are quite good. I enjoy the way the Giants are playing football right now. And I normally root against the Eagles because I find them boring. But but maybe not this week. On the Vikings side, what jumps out?
Well, you talked about Jalen Carter being back. I think that's pretty massive for like what the Vikings want to do in terms of like, establishing Jordan Mason. With Carter on the field, they're only allowing 3.8 yards per carry to running backs, 0.93 yards before contact on those running back runs. Because remember, he left week 1 before the actual play, like after the kickoff got ejected
Yeah,
in week
yeah,
1. So when he's played, like he's been good and they've stopped the run. To me, it's kind of like the only guy that, like I can make a real case for is just Justin Jefferson, right? Like, especially in context of the slate with the removal of so many good front end receivers. That's only if Wentz plays, too, by the way. Caveat if Wentz plays, just because they have a 67% pass rate with Wentz in the game.
yep.
Small sample with JJ McCarthy, but it was only 56.8%. And that's what they told us all offseason. The signal was, right? Like, they spent a lot of money on offensive linemen. They trade for Jordan Mason. They extend Aaron Jones. They extend Josh Oliver. Like they were like, we want to play power football and insulate our young quarterback. And that's kind of all gotten a little bit thrown by the wayside. So I don't think we want to see McCarthy here in this game. I
No,
don't think that they do either, to be
they
honest.
don't. I mean, they clearly don't. Like they just came off the bye week. Like they're nursing it.
I feel like that too, but so Jefferson double-digit targets in the past 2 games, probably would have had that against the Bengals game if like they even had to throw in that game. But like I said, Jake Browning gave them 4 touchdowns, so it's like whatever. And that was in spots where like Steelers, Browns, like not like clear spots. If you would watch last night's game, you would have said, yeah, it's obvious spot for Justin Jefferson, but he's been good. 32% of the targets, with Wentz. He's running. The thing about it too is like, so when the first 2 weeks happened, I was like, man, I don't like what's happening here with the Justin Jefferson's offense. He was only running 27 routes per game those first 2 because of what we talked about. And he's at 40 routes per game with Carson Wentz. So Quinion Mitchell being up does dampen it a little bit, but
It
I think
does.
Justin Jefferson can win though against anyone. Like, so I'm not
It's also
necessarily
more
scared.
that like it's not. Yeah, it's just like it's nice when you have a guy going
We would have
against.
liked the Dory Jackson to be playing.
Yeah, Dory Jackson. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, hey, they really can't cover. Now they can cover, but you still have Justin Jefferson who can uncover against good corners. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think you do have like it is a bit of a weird matchup because you mentioned that like one of the games where I was pointing out how run heavy people have been against the Vikings. One of them was the Bengals giving up, as you pointed out. Um, but you do have the last 2 games, Gainwell and Judkins going off. You had Bijan was just like they could not stop Bijan in that game.
Nobody's been
Um,
able to.
Nobody's been able to, but I mean they had a 40% pass rate. They just like they had a 40%, they ran 60% of the time and won, you know.
Yeah, that was that
So
gross Sunday night game.
yeah, that was the one where McCarthy just tanked, and we may not see him for a few more weeks because of that. Um,
Yeah, we
but
don't we're not tend to be talking about the Bijan, but Bijan's gone over 100 total yards in 15 of his past 17 games, and one
that's
of those he had
crazy.
98.
That you got to set it to 95. You got to do the. I wonder why I
Yeah.
picked 95.
Just Bijan's just absolutely going crazy right now.
um, the thing though, right, is like that's one way the game could play out is the run heavy stuff. But the problem with this matchup and why Saquon is I think fragile is that you have Jalen Hurts who's struggling, an offense that can't really figure it out, and they're going against the best passing defense in the NFL by EPA per dropback. That could be bad. So there's a few different ways this game can play out. I think the Vikings, I believe, are the Vikings favored here?
No, it's like
20-25.
it's tight though. It's like one and a
It's
half
tight.
Eagles.
One and a
It's
half
one
to
and
the
a half
Eagles. Yeah,
Eagles. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's a really tight game. We can talk ourselves into the Eagles front running, but that
No,
could
it's the
get
same
blown
stuff,
up
right?
too.
Yeah, it's the same stuff with the Eagles where we've been at. Like they have to at least put one whole game together for us to like
Yeah.
really believe. Yeah. I mean, Hertz did have, I think, as a standout because what makes Hertz I think kind of interesting on this slate is that he's also going to not be popular because of Jaden
No.
Daniels, Mahomes, and Prescott. And I mean, you go back to the Broncos game though, he had 20 passing points against the Broncos. He only had 3 rushing yards in that game. No tush push, nothing inflating his production. So like the Vikings have faced like not a pretty great rogues gallery of quarterbacks so far. Caleb, Penix,
Yeah,
Jake Browning, Aaron Rodgers, Dylan Gabriel.
it's a good
I
point.
think there's a case to be made. I think for Hurts to have tournament exposure at large field because, like, well, one, you get the tush push BS anyways as an out, but those 20 fantasy points against the Broncos are on his resume. Like, so we know it's like they have the talent. It's just a bunch like they just don't have an identity.
Right. Right. Let's go to the Saints at Bears. This was the game we were teasing. Do you
Yeah,
want to
fun
set
one.
this up? The ultimate revenge game?
Yeah, the where because Caleb Williams is who replaced Rattler at Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah.
So like Davis said is like Caleb left is living Rattler's dream. I was like, I don't know if this was his dream, but like I get
But
it.
Davis on our pod said he ruined Spencer Rattler's life. I was like, he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, how could you say his life is ruined? Good life.
Yeah, hilarious. And then you have like the Dennis Allen too thing too. Like some of the Saints guys been talking about that.
Oh,
But
that's right.
I'm excited
That
about
might be
this
revenge
game.
for the Saints against Allen.
I'm excited about this game if we don't get like the goofy weather stuff. Roth has this one and the Browns game as like kind of games to monitor.
Yeah.
I already offered to. I said if you guys want me to throw a football in my backyard to see how, because I also am a lefty. So
Oh, I'm a lefty.
Tua, and Dylan Gabriel, like
Yeah.
I don't have that same arm strength as those guys, but I
You
don't
don't
know
have
how
Dylan
far.
Gabriel arm strength?
I don't
You
know
don't
how
have Tua
far
arm
off
strength?
I am though either.
Yeah, you think you might have it. Don't sell
But
yourself short.
But this game in general, because like neither of these defenses are very good, and that's always fun. So the Saints, obviously, they're 27th in points allowed per drive. They've given up a bunch of points on the road too in their road games. And the Bears are hilarious, like their defensive stuff. So they lead the NFL in takeaways per drive. 21.4% of opponent drives they get takeaway. But when they don't get a takeaway, they're 31st in scoring rate allowed per drive. So either get a turnover or the other team scores. Like it's like what happens like with them. And Rattler, we talked about him last week. Like he hasn't been playing bad. He's been largely like a bus driver, but like he's not making mistakes. He's
Yeah.
running a little bit. But the only thing that's hurt him for fantasy is he has one or fewer passing touchdowns in every game but one. Well, he's facing a team that has allowing the highest touchdown rate in the NFL. So like I kind of can see where this game, like you can, like there are a lot of stacking avenues on the cheap end of this game that are fun.
Yeah.
I won't take everything, but like I'm at least intrigued
I'm
by this
just
game.
like, I'm sighing because on our DFS pod, we were basically like everyone was sort of talking themselves into Saints stacks. And
Yeah,
I kind of got there by the end of the pod. And now you're getting me even more thinking about, I don't want to do it, but I think it's
that's
smart.
fair. That is fair.
I think it's smart though. Like the, so yeah, I mean the numbers I have here back up exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
The
they're a
Bears,
large field stack if you're doing it.
yeah, but it's cheap. I
No,
don't
that's
know.
what I said. I mean, yeah, because if you're
I mean,
doing
I do like
Rattler,
medium field stuff. I think it's viable
okay,
in like 5,000 fields.
yeah. Yeah, I just wouldn't do like they're not like who you would earmark for like to do small field like
They're
onslaught.
not high
Yeah.
confidence. Yeah,
Right. Yes.
you're right. But yeah, the Bears are 23rd in EPA allowed per dropbacks. Not good, but they're second worst in dropback success rate. So they're getting the big. The EPA is not so bad because they're getting big
The
plays
turnovers.
on their side. Yeah, turnovers. But they're dead last in quick pressure rate. They're 28th in pressure rate. Really poor pass rush. And then you also have them playing a ton of man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
They have where's their man coverage? They even higher man coverage rate than the Patriots, who the Saints just faced last week. And one of the things I noted last week, and is even more true here, is that this kind of focuses targets in to the guys we care about. Shaheed and
Yeah.
Olave both have a 35% targets per out run against man. Only Tedero McMillan, Rome Odunze, Puka Nacua, and Amon-Ra St. Brown have a higher targets per out run against man this year. We also have Juwan Johnson getting a high targets per out run against man over the course of the season. But if you look at his stuff recently, he's way down, and his stuff is also less interesting. Like the other angle about this game that I like is that the Bears aren't good on play action either. And you've got the Saints using play action at a decent rate. The Bears are third worst at defending play action this season. if you look at the play action stuff, that's good for Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. And it's one of the few spots because Olave's usage has been a little bit more shallow this year, but
And
he's
then last
actually,
week, yeah, it looked good.
yeah. And on the play action stuff, he's getting targeted downfield. He has an 11.2 ADOT against man coverage and 15.1 ADOT against play action. So there is some like legit upside for Olave with the potential, we're going to see some man coverage and potential for a lot of play action here. Rashid Shaheed has also been spiking on play action. He has a 24% targets per out run and 4.32 yards per out run. Obviously gets used deep there as well. Johnson has a 2.7 ADOT. He's a check down on play action. He's all and his stuff's fallen off recently. He was at just a 4% targets per out run last week, 0.63 yards per out run, which is basically in line with where he was in week 5. So I think this is like becoming a more condensed offense and one that this matchup will potentially condense even further from baseline, and one where I think both guys can have pretty good games. So I've been thinking about it more as like Olave and Shaheed as one-offs, but I like both the Saints receivers and the quarterbacks for pretty cheap, and I like this game environment. So I think I think Saints doubles are in play.
Yeah. As long as you check out, and then the other side looks. I said it. The other side looks great too. I wrote this up as a potential larger field kind of be aggressive game. I wish DJ Moore was going to miss. I did try to check because he practiced yesterday. Limited, so I was trying to see if he was back up today.
He'll be okay, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
He
Because
had Jeff Mueller said reading the tea leaves, he thinks it was testicular torsion.
That doesn't sound great.
Doesn't sound great. Yeah,
but
he's back at practice. So,
but we love what the Bears did out of their bye. Like, anytime we have these first time head coaches or these offensive driven head coaches, it's like, all right, what did they do with that week off? Like, what did they figure out? Like, what did they calibrate? And the Bears did make some changes. Like, there were some adjustments.
Yeah, highest route participation of the year for Olamide Zacchaeus. Ben Johnson.
Well, that's the change we did not want, unfortunately.
No notes.
But they did use pre-snap motion, season high 64% of the time, highest play action rate in a game. Now hopefully this wasn't just opponent driven. It was the play against Commanders. Cause like we talked about this with Drake May last week, cause Josh McDaniels had ramped these things up, is that like, this is how you beat the Saints, man. I mean, they're 8.7 yards per pass attempt on play action passes. That's 24th. 8% touchdown rate is 20th. Pre-snap motion plays 8.8 yards per pass attempt is 29th. And the league highest, 11.3% touchdown rate on those as well. They've allowed multiple passing touchdowns in all 6 games this season. They're 30th in passing points allowed. Also, they don't get any pressure, which is like the Caleb bugaboo, right? Like, can Caleb stay clean?
They can get pressure. It just takes forever. Yeah. So Drake May last week had a 49% pressure rate. The Saints had a 49% pressure rate against May.
Because he wants to go downfield, yeah.
Because he wants to go downfield. Against pressure, he completed 6 of 10 passes for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also scrambled 4 times for 30 yards. So this is fake pressure. Yeah. And that's exactly what you want. You want Caleb Williams being able to hang back, take his sweet time. He takes a long time to get the ball out. But if you give him that time, he will punish you. Like, I think this is a really fun spot for Caleb Williams. And if I'm playing Saints receivers, I think I'm more excited to play Caleb. And then the guy who I was surprised, I've looked at some projections, Rome Odunze not popping. And the Saints play a bunch of zone and he's really good against man. So, in that sense, the matchup's not like perfect, but you look at when Caleb has a bunch of time to throw. So throws of 2.5 plus seconds or longer. Rome Odunze has been the primary weapon with a 24% targets per out run. He has an 18 ADOT, but he's had just a 44% catch rate and only 1.84 yards per route run. So a lot of meat left on the bone, but that is the primary target when Caleb Williams has time to throw. Like it's Rome Odunze deep shots are a big part of what he's doing. So I think this could be a big time spike week spot for Odunze. I also like, Olave and Shaheed as well as potential spike week spots for them. But I feel like the thing I'm most confident in, I think, is that Caleb Williams basically comes in and is like, hey, can you give me that game? I want the May game plan. That looked cool. Let me do some of that stuff. And if you don't give him the game plan, he'll still do it. He'll still hold the ball. So I think we're getting deep shots from Caleb Williams, and I think we're gonna see some connect this week. I wish, man, do I ever wish that Zacchaeus was out of the picture for this game and we had Burden, because he would be so fun here.
Oh yeah, I actually
But
wouldn't be more excited if it was going to be filling in for more.
oh yeah, me too. Yeah,
Yeah, because
on the outside.
my take on Burden is that he shouldn't be used as a slot receiver. He should be used as a vertical receiver.
Yeah,
Like, and I was like, man, if Zacchaeus just being the slot Zacchaeus, it, he can just go do those things and play some more. I was like, oh, Burden would be cooked. This would be awesome, but
if more
unfortunately,
were to miss, I would be very excited about Burden here.
yeah, I think a lot of people would be. I am very excited about Adunze, like you said. Well, Caleb is still doing the Caleb thing of he's number one in the NFL in an accurate throw rate. He has the worst differential in expected completion rate, completion rate versus expected, and that's directly impacted Rome Odunze over the past 3 games. 25% of his targets have been inaccurate targets. That's kind of where we've seen this kind of slow down from a little bit, but he's still getting all the usage we like. He's led the Bears in targets in 4 or 5 games this year. He still has a monopoly on all of the high value touches. He leads the Bears in red zone targets, 30%. He has 56% of the end zone targets. Had one that didn't count last week, the touchdown that came back on another call, like the illegal motion that didn't impact the play. And while he does have like the wide splits versus man and zone, I don't know if it matters here in this matchup regardless, because the Saints have just been giving up to everyone. I mean, they're 30th in points allowed to wide receiver 1 targets, and they've allowed a 10% touchdown rate to those targets. So like, I don't know if it really matters.
We need a filter that just exempts like the Cowboys and the Raiders and the Saints.
Well,
like,
it's funny.
I don't care.
It's funny because offenses are so bad this year. Again, like in totality, like it's still just trending like not great. But we do have like 4 or 5 like almost historically bad defenses. Like and like there's some of these have like no hopes of turning it around. I don't know. Like Trayvon Diggs is even playing this week. Like that's some of these teams like Miami, at least they play in Cleveland. Like maybe playing the Browns in a downpour will help the Miami defense.
That's their only chance.
We play in a hurricane against Dylan Gabriel. Maybe we got a shot, but I don't know.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, that's we talked about this with McMillan, and he actually didn't have like a huge yardage game, but he scored twice.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, the zone stuff's cool, but also like some of these defenses just suck. And the Saints suck. They're not a good defense at all. And they can't get pressure. Like when do I want to play Caleb Williams? Because he's gonna have a long time to throw regardless. So it's when that doesn't hurt him. And it's not gonna hurt him here. So I'm pretty into Caleb Williams. I'm probably gonna force a Caleb Williams stack, and I usually play like 6 lineups. I think I'm gonna force the Caleb Williams stack in one of them.
Yeah. He's one of my QBs. I always like to say I always do. I have a very tight quarterback pool, and he's one of them this week. So
nice. Anything?
I like it. Like it.
The DeAndre Swift I noted like is an RB2 in season long stuff. I don't know that I'll end up getting to him in DFS. And then he popped up limited yesterday. Do you have a read on him?
Seems like he's gonna be okay. Like it was more Russ. I haven't seen Friday practice for the Bears. I tried to pull up because I was looking at DJ Moore. They did bench out of the bye Braxton Jones, their left tackle, for Theo Benedet, and Jones or Swift had a 100% success rate running behind off the left side. And obviously, it's not going to be 100%. Moving forward, and that definitely run. No one's ever 100% in the run game, but it looked like I said, Ben Johnson did some calibration that seemed to at least work against a team that up until Monday night, Washington had been awesome against the run. Like they had been great. They were actually number 1, even ahead of the Browns in yards allowed before contact on running back runs coming into Monday night, and like they got diced, like by DeAndre Swift. Right? It was the most rushing yards he's had in a game since he faced Washington last year. Like in week 8.
Swift looked good too. Like he was.
But he does this to us though. That's why I at least want to we always get roped back in by him. I want to see more.
The one thing I noted with Swift, he has a 44% success rate in the NFL Next Gen stuff, which is running back 15. But the line is kind of like you want to be at 40% or above. And he's typically been at like 35% or 33%. Like he sucked in success rate, very boom bust. This is like why Detroit gave up on him, him being, and I noted before that this was before the Commanders game, he had a pretty solid success rate. I think that the Bears are probably much happier with Swift than we would anticipate. Now that's easier enough to say after he kind of sealed the game from last week, but I did write it. It's in writing before the game. I think that he actually has been better this year. Like he's been better in a real life. We can lean on our running back when we want to run the ball kind of way, which is pretty important. We always like the boom bust guys because they're fun, but like teams get super frustrated with the Kenneth Walkers of the world, with Brees
We've seen
Hall.
it.
Like they
Yeah,
get
we talked about
frustrated.
it.
Yeah, and they play like grinders, and it's like, why are you playing Braylon Allen, man? It's like because they think he's going to have a higher success rate, basically. So Swift's success rate is pretty important. If he's healthy, I think he's. I don't think I get to him, but like it's probably like a 150 set, which I don't play. I could see him being involved. He seems like an okay play to me. As long as the health isn't a concern.
He's a home running back. He's a home favored running back with a team total of 26. Like, right? Like it's just an objectively blind spot to have faith in like a running back. Like to at least be pro. Like,
and he catches
the positive
passes.
side. Yes.
I like this game environment. This is one of the game environments that I think I'm going to be targeting when I'm not targeting the game environment, which we'll get to.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these early starts. You're trying to find these early start guys, so you know how you have to adjust to some of the chalk that will be on the late slate.
100%. All right, Dolphins at Browns. This is the potential weather bowl. Although it doesn't look like it might be too bad. What jumps out to you in this game?
Yeah, I mean, this would be an interesting match. I think if there's nothing we have to deal with, which we might not have to. Like we've been here before with weather stuff. Like I try not to get too crazy about it. When Roth usually says stuff about it, though, I kind of like my ears perk up a little bit because he's just so good at what he does.
He's pretty good.
I mean, his baseball is amazing. Like when he'll like 12 hours up, like that game's getting postponed. I'm like, but like we have this historically bad Dolphins defense. They have a lot of opponents to score on 60% of their possessions so far. It's the highest rate through 6 weeks of any team in the 2000s. They are 31st in EPA as a pass defense. Only the Cowboys are worse. They're 32nd in rush defense. Like what do you want to do against these guys? What do you want to do? And then we have this Browns team that, hasn't scored more than 17 points in a game since the Jameis Mile High game last year. It's like, I think it's close to a record. So it's interesting. I think there's some great dynamics of this game. I wish that we had some like cleaner weather because I think there's some paths for like optimism even on the Dolphins passing side, but I just don't know if the weather is going to hold up. So the Browns we know that they are like a great pass rush to play a lot of man coverage, right? But these quarterbacks that are quick processors against them, and I don't know if I want to label Tua a quick processor versus like the scheme is just generated on you throw the ball quickly.
Yeah.
Like we don't deal with it. But the Browns, and we saw this happen with Aaron Rodgers last week against them too. We saw it a little bit with Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. Like these quarterbacks that get rid of the football against them give them problems. On throws within 2.5 seconds of the snap, these are kind of jarring. The Browns are 30th in yards allowed per pass attempt and 31st in rating allowed to quarterbacks. Like you would not believe that, like watching the Cleveland Browns defense, right? And then it's teams that hold the ball, they go to second in yards per allowed attempt and 9th in rating. And then obviously Tua, whether you want to be a Tua thing, a Mike McDaniel thing, a scheme thing, like 52% of his passes come within 2.5 seconds, which is the 8th fastest rate. So
the Browns rank first in pass rush grade for PFF at the team level and first in pass rush win rate from ESPN. They're only 15th in pressure rate and they're 20th in quick pressure rate. And I dug into this because it's like, well, what's going on?
Yeah.
Are they overrated? They're not overrated. Teams are like making a huge effort to get the ball out quickly. If you look at against the 31 other defenses in the NFL, teams are averaging 2.81 seconds per throw. Against the Browns, teams are averaging 2.65 seconds per throw, bigger than the gap between Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa in time to throw this year. So they're trying to play like the Dolphins against the Browns. The Dolphins obviously are going to Dolphin it up. They're going to get the ball out really quickly. I do worry, like, I was wrong about this with the Steelers. I was like, what are okay, they get, because the Steelers also play like this. I'm like, is this going to work? Like, they're not going to be able to speed up, like they're against normal pass rushes. They're going to have to, they try to get the ball out quickly. Like, are they going to kind of struggle here? But it's actually the Steelers. It suited the way they play. They get the ball
Yeah.
out quickly anyway, and so it ended up being an okay matchup for them. So I think there's upside for the Dolphins here to just like do their thing, and that's their thing is how you play the Browns. So in that sense, it's good. I also do worry though, anytime you put Tua against an elite
Yeah.
pass rush, that's an extremely low floor setup as well. So he's someone like in season long stuff, I would be like, oh boy. But in like large
And
field
they in the
tournaments,
Cleveland home games,
mm,
like they've been real good.
yeah. Well, and
Like
on the
Burrow,
Cleveland
they faced
side,
Burrow week 1, Jordan Love in that's it. They've only had 2, right? Because the Vikings game was a home game, but not a home game.
not a home game. Yeah,
The
not a
Love
home game.
game, they only gave up 17 points to Burrow. And Burrow, what they had the fewest yards. Did they have negative yards in the second half of that game or something crazy? And then
Oh
Jordan
god,
Love, the Packers did nothing in that game against them in Cleveland.
they lost. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. Yeah. So I don't know. It's pretty boom bust for the
yeah.
Dolphins, and not much boom. It's competent or bust for
But
for the
they're
Dolphins.
with the Dolphins, like we know what to do anyways, right? Because like even if you
Play
like
Waddle.
Tua, Tua's like still a QB2. Like he's not going to give you probably a tournament worthy score. We like
Right.
Waddle, all the first read stuff for Waddle. Even if it's not a great rushing matchup for Achan, like they can get him involved, and then you have like Waller with this red zone role. Although like his routes keep expanding, which we're going to need to because literally 53% of his fantasy points are touchdowns right now.
Dude, 78% route participation this
Yep.
year though, and we've got 3 games, and he's at a targets per out run of 18%, first 2 target of 15%, 1.77 yards per out run. I'm kind of like bought in. I think Waller's,
Yeah. Rest of the
he's like a
season,
low end tight
he's
end one.
yeah. Yep.
So I think he's, I don't know. I haven't thought about him in DFS. I don't like what's he priced at.
It's a really good tight end slate.
Yeah, 4,200. I don't think so, but um, like give me Fannin over that all day. So I won't play Waller here, but Waddle I think is okay. Achan I actually don't love that the the rushing matchup is so difficult, and then you have a really low floor for the passing game, and maybe like there is a path where they're just like utilizing him constantly in the quick passing game, and um,
It feels
you
like a
know
floor spot though. Like
it
if you
does, yeah,
it feels like if you get remember when the Browns played Gibbs and Gibbs had like 90 and a touchdown? It like
right.
feels similar to that. Like if we get that, like we feel good, but like his salary, like are you willing to pay that? Like that's not gonna win you anything.
I don't think he's not gonna be a priority at all.
Yeah.
If I have a
Right.
lineup with him that maybe that sims well, okay, fine. But the computer's gonna have to talk me into it. Um,
Come on, robots.
come on, robots. See if yeah,
Yeah.
it's balls in your court, robots.
Yeah.
Um, the Browns side, we do have David Njoku ruled out,
Mhm.
so we get our duck-footed king, Harold
Yeah.
Fannin. I mean, it's happening, man. He's
Yep.
last week 78% route participation. That was with Njoku still running 41%. So we could have 80% plus route participation this week.
Yes.
His targets per out runs have been very consistent. He was at 15% in week 2, but otherwise 21% or above in every game. He had 29% back in week 1. He's at a 22% targets per out run for the season, which is 91st percentile. He's a 17% first read target rate, which is 91st percentile. He's been pretty efficient, 1.47 yards per out run. I mean, and like we know that Dylan Gabriel's trying to get the ball out pretty quickly. This is a matchup where he's going to have like a little bit more time to throw because the Dolphins don't have a good pass rush, and he's gone against the Vikings, who blitz constantly and are awesome, and the Steelers, who have an elite pass rush. So, um, he's got a 2.47 second time to throw, which is the fastest in the NFL. It's just like get the ball out as soon as you can. He's still gonna have a little bit of trouble holding the ball because they're probably gonna be out both their tackles.
Yeah.
Conklin is gonna miss the game, it looks like, and Dwan Jones is on IR.
And Cam Robinson
So
left last game too.
oh god. Okay. So they're really hurting a tackle. It's not like an amazing setup for and then the weather. So, Dylan Gabriel, I'm not playing, but I think he can support one duck-footed tight end. That's what I'm
I
hoping.
agree. I mean,
And
if you got webbed feet, this is You want to be playing. You want to be playing in the rain, man. Like,
That's true. That's
yeah,
true.
you
Little
want to be
splash.
playing. Yeah, yeah. It's set up, man. I want the duck, man. I wanted the duck.
I didn't
Also,
even think about that. That's
hilarious
bullish.
thing for the Dolphins is not only have the Dolphins been bad against tight ends all year, like they're 28th in yards to target, they're 23rd in touchdown rate. Dude, it's all rookie tight ends. So he's got to complete the cycle. Listen to
Oh
this.
my God.
Tyler Warren, 7 for 76 against them. Mason Taylor, 5 for 65. Aronde Gadsden last week, 7 for 68. They also allowed touchdowns to Jackson Hawes and Mitchell Evans. Like
Oh my God.
the whole draft class gets a piece of the Dolphins. Like it's your time, Harold. Like
All right.
yeah,
I could not be more in.
every tight end, every rookie tight end gets a piece of the Dolphins this year.
What a stat. Quinshon Judkins is another rookie, not a tight end, but another rookie here who is going to be big time chalk in DFS. He's 6,000. They're going to build the game plan around him. As you mentioned, the Dolphins can't stop the run. The Browns are they're home favorites. So, this is the spot to play their running back. Judkins has looked awesome this year.
Yeah.
He's run really efficiently. The numbers support that he's playing really well. He's still not really involved as a receiver. Had just a 2% target share last week. He's peaked at 13%, but typically, kind of around 5%, 7% in week 5. Not a lot of targets, but that definitely makes him more fragile. At the same time, the upside really is through the running game, where you're betting he scores a couple times and has an efficient day on the ground. Davis was sharing his rushing prop. It's like 95 yards.
Dude,
So,
it's crazy high. Like his yardage is crazy high.
yeah. So he's expected to produce here. You do need him to score, I think, because he just doesn't catch passes. But
Right.
this is a pretty good setup.
Yeah. Historically, like, and obviously, like in your smaller field stuff, like he comes along for the ride. Like large field stuff, like you laid out though, like this archetype of player when they're tracking to be popular, like
Which he is.
sometimes are worth getting out from because if he just doesn't have the touchdowns, your door is open now. If he's going to be like 35% large field and he could even rush for over 100 yards because he's probably not going to catch many passes. And if he doesn't score a touchdown, like he's not paying off. Now
He's
I'm
also
playing
not
him
like
still, but
5,000.
yeah.
He's 6,000. So
And
it's,
we used to do this all the time when like old Jonathan Taylor would be like super chalky or like something. You'd be like, all right,
yeah.
like here we go. Like, but I mean, I'm playing him still too. But like, I think in large field there are reasons to come up with different builds, especially I think playing like. Well, we already mentioned Saquon, and I know people will just roll their eyes at that. But like, if you even want to do like two big build backs, like with Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs on this slate, I think that becomes interesting as well as like a pivot off of Judkins. But I mean, I'm still playing him. It's a great matchup. He's at when are we gonna get him as a home favorite again? And then just like look at the guys that have gotten there against the Dolphins. It's not like all these awesome backs are getting there against them. Like they allowed Kamani Vidal to have 140 total yards. Like Dowdle went for 240. Ramondre Stevenson had 142 total yards against them. Some of that was through the air, but it's like, and then Breece Hall over 100. Like everyone's getting there. So you got to do it. You got to go do it.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very strong play. He's a little bit of a fragile play. So
Yes.
when he gets,
I think more so than people consider that though, too, like just because of his archetype.
yeah, when he runs for 80 yards and doesn't score, that's not gonna do it. It's 6,000. Like he can have 4.7 yards per carry in this game, right? And fail because he doesn't really catch passes. Now, he has 6% target share. It's not 0. Maybe he does catch a few passes and turn in some production there. But yeah, that it just makes him a little bit more boom bust. Let's see. Yeah, I think that covers that game.
Yeah.
Panthers at Jets. The Service Academy Bowl. This one, they apparently. So I saw the Underdog account had tweeted out a quote from Dave Canales saying something along the lines of, "We've decided who we're going to start and who's going to get the bulk of carries, but we're not going to tell you who." So that sounds like Dowdle, doesn't it?
Yeah. He also had this quote that Coach Speak Index repopulated as well. that Dave Canales said, Rico Dowdle ran with violence, a man on a mission. He takes our schemes and makes them come alive. So I don't know, man. Sounds like that dude is ready to not play Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, we just can't figure out who they're gonna play. He takes my schemes and breathes life into them.
Yeah, just takes our scheme and just Frankenstein's that shit. Like,
He's a mad scientist.
yeah.
I love. Did you see Dowdle after he told the Cowboys they better buckle up. Did you see his quote after the game?
Oh yeah, what was it? I remember verbatim.
He said
Go
they
ahead.
wasn't buckled up.
Yeah, there wasn't. There wasn't buckled up.
Hell yeah, man.
Rico did me good. I thought, after I said I fumbled 2 weeks ago, the Rico bag, I said, all right, don't let me down, Rico. I'm coming back. I'm getting on board, and he was there for us again.
Yeah, he
I
sure was. He sure was.
appreciate it.
He is one where if we knew, like, if Chuba Hubbard was missing this game, we would be very excited about Rico Dowdle again here, right?
Absolutely.
So, do we have the stones to just play it like Rico Dowdle's the starting running back?
I mean, why not? I mean, they take at least like, and I say why not in the context of like we talked about like some Saquon stuff, like
Yeah.
taking that swing. Because I don't want people their takeaway after listening to the first hour of us recording, they're like, they said don't play Judkins and play Saquon. That's what I heard. Like, it's not at all what happened.
That would be a fair takeaway of this discussion, but there's nuance.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think you do want to like at least mix him in just to see, because it's also a player that's coming back from injury when Chuba Hubbard.
Right.
That was ineffective to the point before injury. So it is a team that wants to run the football. They're probably being a game script to run the football. They're facing another team that even if they get ahead are going to try to run the football on them. And so
I really, really struggle to see how the Panthers are in a position where they decide they can't run the football.
right.
Like that feels almost impossible to me. Not that they're a negative game script, but that they care. And that they're in like such negative game script that it's like, okay, we have to pass the ball because we gotta eke out, 4 possessions in 8 minutes or whatever. And that's not their opponent. They're the Jets. I mean, the Jets might like run the ball the entire fourth quarter. They might get the ball with 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter and never give it back. They're that kind of slow, methodical team. But this is not. They're not going to be down by like 17 points here in the fourth, right? Like that's the Jets. Even if they win, they play so slowly. They run the ball so much, and they're just not good enough. So I think the Panthers. And here's the other thing, right? The Panthers over the last 3 weeks have had pass rates over expected of -7, -10, and -10%. And on first down, -20, -29, and -25%. Like they've been running the crap out of the ball, prioritizing the run game. The Jets and the Panthers are going to hold hands here and say, let's do our favorite thing in the world. Let's run the ball. They're going to skip happily along, and both teams are going to run the ball a bunch. And I think they, most likely we're looking at probably a bit of a back and forth game. If anything, I like the Panthers here more than the Jets. The Jets, they just cratered. They can crater against anyone. So if one of these teams really going to let us down, it's probably the Jets. But I think most likely this is a back and forth game where both teams are very run heavy. It hurts overall volume. But if we get Rico as the lead back, he can seed 6 carries. He can seed maybe even 8 carries to
Right.
Chuba Hubbard. And I think he'll be fine here. They're going to run the ball.
30 carries last week.
Yeah. He could honestly, like, it's crazy. Like I was saying he could have like 18 carries and still get like 60 something percent of the carries. It's wild.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. This would be a spot too where like I would probably be down. I feel like we martingaled Tet as far as we could, and we got the 2 touchdowns like in the 3 target game, and we were like, let's just leave that. I'm gonna leave it alone for a week.
It's kind of like, you're kind of like, okay, I got away with it. I don't know if I'm going back to it.
And and he's going up against Sauce, and the Jets have been awesome against wide receiver ones all year. So maybe that allows a little bit run out for the cokeheads that are getting their dream of him returning this week. But they are second in the league in points allowed to opposing wide receiver ones, and they only allow 5.2 targets per game to wide receiver ones. And we've seen this play out every week. We saw it with Cortland Sutton last week. We saw it with George Pickens. George Pickens got the long touchdown the week before. But they push targets elsewhere away from the wide receiver one. So, and then when you're talking about getting to the Panthers wide receiver two, we're counting on Bryce Young to do some stuff, and they're I don't feel any confidence in that. Do you?
No, and they don't want it.
Yeah.
That's not what the Panthers want. The Panthers, I think Bryce Young is probably at his best when they do just drop back a ton and kind of have 4 wide receivers on the field and play spread and stuff. But that's not Dave Canales, and they're not interested in. I don't think they're interested in what technically is Bryce best at. They're how do we win games in a way that feels good to Dave Canales, and that's the way they've been playing recently.
Right.
This style where they just run the ball and they beat the Dolphins and they beat the Cowboys. This is what he wants this team to be, and that's clear from last year too. With they want to be a downhill running team that utilizes Bryce Young as kind of a secondary punch here. So this is an ideal spot for them, for them to play that exact style of football. The Jets are not going to push them off of it. Jets are going to be playing the same style of football on the other side. Yeah, so I don't trust Bryce Young, the volume. And don't make me bet on Bryce Young efficiency. He hasn't been efficient all season.
Right.
He got benched last year. I think Bryce Young's not good. I don't think he's a good quarterback. So I'm not betting on his efficiency. And the few times I have been kind of excited about Bryce, it's because I thought he was going to drop back a ton, and I don't think that's going to happen here at all. Fields is the guy. If I had to get excited about a quarterback here, it would be Fields, because as we saw against the Broncos, if he gets pressure, it's a huge problem. He sucks against pressure, but it's not just that he sucks against pressure, which he does. It's that their offensive line, which I hear talked about as a good offensive line, it's not good. They allowed quick pressure on 41% of their dropbacks last week. The Vikings lead the league with a 31% quick pressure rate. So that's 10% more than the league leading Vikings they allowed last week against the Broncos. The Broncos quick pressure rate last week was higher than the Rams overall pressure rate this year. The Rams, pretty good pass rush. So what do you do with that? If you're getting quick pressure, is not on the quarterback. That's 2.5 seconds or less. That's you don't get the ball out that quickly. They're on you immediately. And Fields takes sacks when he gets pressured, so it's enhancing a negative about your quarterback. And then also, Fields holds the ball forever. So if you do hold up, he's going to create pressure against a good pass rush. So last week was pretty predictable. He is going to crater against teams like the Broncos, but he gets the Panthers. They're second worst in quick pressure rate. They're dead last in pressure rate. I think Fields could bounce back here as a fantasy play. Now it's more about you go back to him in your season long leagues. I don't think I'll have him in DFS, but I do think he's viable. I think he's a viable play this week coming off the absolute horrible game. You probably stack him with Mason Taylor or with Breece Hall. I think both are fine. You think you could maybe even play all three of them, because the targets could really condense to those 3 players, or to those 2 players from Fields. And yeah, Fields is only 5,700. He does have a ceiling, right? He can run, and if you give him time to throw, he can do some stuff from time to time. So I think the Jets side of this, as far as stacking goes, is one I'm way more interested in. And Breece Hall, could just rack up targets here. He's going to be big time chalk.
Yeah, he's going to be the computer guy, because he's going to project for such a high workload. That it's just going to stand out. He's going to look really good in projections. We'll say, we hinted upon it though. We do have this little bit of a mounting sample, and it might not matter just because the volume is there. Where maybe the Panthers aren't just a pushover in the run game. The past 3 weeks, 2.7 yards per carry allowed to running backs. They're second in the league in yards allowed before contact, and Last week, that was, Javonte Williams had been running hot and running efficient, nuked him. Devon Achane nuked him the week before that. So,
They're
maybe that
first
would
in
be
rushing success rate this season. They
yeah.
have the lowest rushing success rate against, and they're third in DVOA now against the run. So that it's not just like a trend, like, or a sample.
I
If we
think I would
slice it, you don't
rather
got to
play
slice
this.
it. It's the
Yeah.
whole season.
Yeah, I think I would rather play it through, Fields Taylor. It was it was the third time in Fields' career, 7 sacks while throwing for fewer than 100 yards. Over the past 10 years, that's only happened 4 other times. He has 3 games. The rest of the NFL 4. In the 2000s, no other quarterback has had more than 1 of those games. He has
Oh
3 of
my
them
god.
in his career. Like, what a nightmare. But I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought up Mason Taylor because I feel like he's getting lost in the sauce this week because Fannin 1, Mayer 2, cheapies that just stand out.
Yep. Yep.
But we're removing 34% of the targets, 46% of the air yards from this offense with Garrett Wilson, doubtful, not going to play. Those are second and third in the NFL. And 2 weeks prior, the Denver debacle, he had 65 yards and 67 yards in games where the matchups were favorable, and he had 26% and 27% of the team targets in those games. He's been on the field for 85, 86% of the
Yep.
dropbacks. And tight ends against Carolina have scored 27.6% of the fantasy points they've allowed. So that's that's elite. That's the highest rate in the league. They're also 31st in yards per target to tight ends, 26 in touchdown rate, and they under Aviro run a ton of cover 3. They're third in the NFL in rate of cover 3. Taylor was already second on the team in target rate against cover 3, behind obviously Garrett Wilson. We're removing him, so I kind of like Taylor as a large field pivot off of some of the chalkier guys. Obviously, I like the other 2 guys and have them ranked higher, but I think Taylor is interesting this week though too.
I do too, and he's pretty cheap at 3,400. And like they're going to throw some, like the receivers
there will be
here.
completed passes.
There will be completed
Yeah.
passes, and I think Breece Hall, literal leverage off of Breece Hall because Hall gets a tough rushing matchup. Maybe,
And Hall he doesn't have a rushing touchdown this year, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's not perceived as a tough rushing matchup, but it is. It really, Hall needs to get peppered with targets, which he probably will be. But they do have Isaiah Davis. He plays on kind of long down and distance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If they're playing from behind, Hall's a weird one, right? Because you're betting on targets is a big part of the value. Not everything, but it's a big part. And yet, if the Jets get down, they probably have Isaiah Davis out there a lot. So it's like it's a front running receiving back is kind of which makes him a little bit more fragile than you'd think. And then one of the ways that like Taylor gets there potentially is that in that kind of trailing script, Isaiah Davis is out on the field and they're throwing to Mason Taylor and he's just racking up catches. He has like 7 or 8 catches, So I do think he's in play. I think he's in play with Hall as a bet on the Jets, but he's also in play as kind of a sneaky little pivot off of him. So yeah, and I do think Fields, he's going to be like sub 5%. It's not the craziest thing.
Oh yeah. This slate is going to be so concentrated on Mahomes, Daniels, Dak.
He's got the ceiling to compete with those guys. Now, you're going to feel bad when he has
you don't watch
11
the game.
points. Yeah, that's what I said in the walkthrough. I was like, you don't have to watch it. You really don't. It's like, it might not be as ugly as last week, but it will be disjointed. It will be tough to watch at times for sure. Broncos or Giants at Broncos. I would say the theme for me this week is there's a lot of game environments that I was like, oh, kind of like this one. Not this one. I did not. I did not like this game environment. Where did you land?
Similarly, I think there's case to be made for the Broncos. There is the weird rest disadvantage though for them, coming back from London and then the Giants playing on Thursday. But it feels like such a letdown spot for the Giants having a big win at home and then going on the road to Denver on Demaryius Thomas Ring of Honor Day. It just feels like such a spot where they just get crushed.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, because we'll see how much I eat this, but like I already bet Jackson Dart's like rushing yards under. His like out has been like his legs, because we don't expect them to throw, not without Neighbors, not without Darius Slayton, like against this Broncos defense. Like little Jordan Humphrey ain't jumping over nobody in this game.
Little Jordan Humphrey revenge game, Rich.
Yeah, it is a revenge game. But man, I looked at this like not even just this year, but going back for 3 years under Vance Joseph. They've allowed one quarterback to rush for over 45 yards. It was Anthony Richardson, 46 yards. And in that sample, they faced Justin Fields 3 times, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. This year they faced Jalen Hurts. He only had 3 rushing yards. Like, I don't know if it's the pass rush, like, because they play so much man. Because usually it would be like if you play a lot of man and you blitz, like then the barn doors open.
You do run, yeah.
But like, dude, like no quarterbacks like under Van, like these last years. I'm like, oh my god, like they don't give up any rushing yards to any quarterbacks. So it's like, yeah, so it's like if Dart can't be running around, and maybe they don't even want him running around because he probably was concussed last week, and then Dayball like phoned a friend and like was like, you gotta get him out of here, man. Like, you gotta bring him out. Remember that on the sideline? He's like, dude, like,
yeah. They brought in the independent neurologist Cam Scattaboo.
Dude, they brought in the independent neurologist. Yeah, Scattaboo did the test. It was like, it's good to go, coach. I just ran into a telephone pole, but like, did you hear that thing about Scattaboo like putting on like his brother's helmet? Like,
yeah, and running into telephone poles as a child.
It's literally the Tommy Boy thing. Like, did you eat paint chips as a kid? Like, yeah. Why do you ask?
Oh, God.
Like, yeah. But so if Dart can't be running around, like what is this offense going to do against this defense? What's the out for like the Giants to score points in this game?
I don't know, because the Broncos are good against the run too. Like this isn't a Vikings setup where they're actually like struggling against the run a bit. The Broncos, they're number 1 in dropback success rate, number 2 in EPA allowed per dropback. They have the highest pressure rate in the league, 4th highest in quick pressure. They blitz nonstop, 4th highest in blitz rate per dropback. It's not a good spot, man. And the other thing about Dart is he hasn't been good against the blitz this year.
No, or pressure.
So yeah, or pressure.
He was good against pressure on Thursday, I should say. But the previous 2 games he wasn't.
Yeah, so I worry. I mean, this is just a very, very difficult defense, and even if they weren't coming off the big high of beating the Eagles, they would be in a tough spot. The other thing is, even in the win against the Eagles, they only had a 54% pass rate. They were at 46% against the Chargers. They did pass 68% of the time against the Saints, but that's the Saints, right? So the Eagles, pretty good defense, not as good when they played them because as we talked about, they had the injuries. Chargers are very good in coverage, but they win both those games. I think that's probably the formula, kind of a leaning on the run, trying to run like 45-ish% of the time and limiting Dart. But I just don't think it works that well here against a decent Broncos run defense that they're 8th in DVOA, 12th in EPA, 8th in success rate. So they've been solid against the run. I think Scattaboo will get plenty of work as they kind of try to, keep. I would say the big thing they're trying to avoid is Dart dropping back a bunch in obvious passing situations. Like they don't want the rookie quarterback to get exposed against this defense. So I would expect that we see, a good amount of Scattaboo here. I think the hope for the Giants is honestly their own defense. It's that the Bo Nix, who's kind of sucked in a number of games this year, plays poorly because he's pressured. And Nix, he's playing behind an offensive line that ranks first in pass block grade, first in pass block win rate. They have the lowest pressure rate allowed in the league, and they're allowing quick pressure. They're third best there in preventing quick pressure. So, you have some optimism about Nix having some time to throw, but they are going against a good Giants pass rush, and they're down their starting left guard, Ben Powers. He was replaced by Matt Pert, who's now been placed on IR. I do not know. I was reading Denver Broncos blogs to try to figure out who their left guard was going to be, and they're just spitballing. So it's unclear. They might move their center left guard and use a backup center. They might have a swing tackle play guard. It's unclear to me. Maybe they've announced it. I didn't see it, but this is like a potential liability on the line for them against a they've got Brian Burns, they've got Abdul Carter, they have Dexter Lawrence. Like, this isn't just like one guy you have to worry about. So I could see this actually being a spot where the Broncos struggle a little bit too. And if the Giants win this game, I think it's going to be one that you get off the quad box immediately. It's not going to be a fun watch.
Yeah, definitely that. Yeah, Giants have spiked in pressure rate the past 3 weeks. And then when they've gotten to the quarterback, like actually gotten pressure, the pass defense has held up. But they're another team. They play a lot of man coverage. You're counting on Bo Nix, but I think this is a spot where I'm entertaining, especially on this slate. Cortland Sutton, he was coming off 3 really good games, and then he ran to Sauce Gardner treatment last week. But he's a 35% first read target rate against man coverage. He's got a 29% target rate anyways. We've seen some big body guys give the Giants trouble, like Quentin Johnson, George Pickens. AJ Brown was on his way to a big game until the second half happened last week. And again, like, just to add a little bit of the narrative stuff into it, like, he's talked about all week, like, what Demaryius Thomas meant to him. And he was a rookie when they traded Demaryius Thomas. He was on the team that year, and like, he took over tradition, like Demaryius Thomas, like, he's bring donuts to the Saturday meeting, and like, he still does it to this day.
Oh,
like,
wow.
for him, like, it's like, so he's up for this game. Like, Cortland Sutton is up for this game. So like, I'm at least gonna, well, before you even get to the narrative stuff, like, all the stuff kind of, there is some signal for him, and then like cherry on top, it's like we got a little bit of motivation. And then this slate, I think, is set up too to where, like, if you don't pay for Lamb and you don't pay for Jefferson, like, you are probably playing like more 3 mid-rangey guys or 2 around Rashee Rice. And he fits kind of that profile, like, where he's priced. Like, this is a guy that could have touchdowns. He can get to 100 yards. So like, I'm interested in Sutton, but he's like really the only Denver piece I am interested in.
I agree. And I think the way this game, I think, is gross is if like if the Giants are winning this game, I think they kind of need to bring the Broncos down to their level, because I
Yeah.
just struggle to see how the Giants are like really
Well,
putting
that's
up
the Bo
points.
Nix factor, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
But Bo Nix he's a boom bust quarterback, but there's boom. Like, he's been really good in game. He was really good. He had 86th percentile in EPA per play against the Colts, 82nd percentile against the Bengals. Like, and the Giants are vulnerable in the secondary. And the offensive line, maybe this thing I'm talking about, the left guard, they get it figured out. It's not a big deal. So they played great. So if if that's not a liability, then they probably can hold up against a good pass rush. And I do think Sutton is interesting. The Giants play a bunch of man. Nix has been pretty good against man, as you mentioned. Sutton is getting targeted at a really high rate against man. So he's the only guy, though, because Pat Bryant's involved now.
Yeah, Troy Franklin's lost his juice.
Yep. Marvin Mims is down to 45% route participation over the last couple weeks. Troy Franklin dropped to 70%. Pat Bryant has like no targets. He was literally not targeted in week 5.
Nope.
He had an 11% target rate last week. He has a yards per hour on the season of 0.56. So it's not like he's doing a lot, but he is nuking the value of the non-Sutton guys. Probably good for Sutton, though.
Hey, we saw this last year. Like, them, like, outside of Sutton, like, they just would just play everyone. Remember? It was like
he's the new little Jordan Humphrey.
Little Jordan Humphrey. Yeah, Franklin is doing, or Pat Bryant is doing the little Jordan Humphrey thing.
Yeah.
But Franklin was like locked in, like, early on, like weeks 2 and 3. It was like, oh, he's like actually the wide receiver too, and then he's bled out. He's actually had some mistakes too, I think, that have led to him losing some reps too.
And then Evan Ingram obviously had a big game last week, but he only had 52% route participation, so I'm not interested in him either. Do you have any interest in the running game? I mean, we kind of mentioned Scatterbo, but either running game jump out to you?
No, Scatterbo, I think you're just doing the season long stuff, right? Like, he's taking control of the backfield. We saw when they were road dogs 2 weeks ago in New Orleans, he caught some more passes, like, was involved as a pass catcher, and that's like what I think you're hoping for, is he's involved as a pass catcher in this one, with if they're down, and he is out through that capacity. And then the Broncos guys, like, we just know what we're doing. Like, it's Dobbins is like literally like touchdown dependent, like flex type play. He's not running any routes. He's not getting any targets. And then Harvey is like in like this very like poor man's like an auxiliary like receiving role. The game script could get out of hand, and maybe you can get some more touches for him, because he does play more when they're ahead. But he has like, there's just like nothing to glom onto with him right now.
I think and maybe we'll never get there because Sean Payton likes to dick around, but he has this like role potential where you're like, if he improves as a runner, he would be like such an intriguing fantasy play, like
Or
someone
if
we'd be
Dobbins
really
would
excited about.
start to fail as a runner.
If Dobbins starts to fail as a runner, yeah, there's like underneath the surface, you can see, I can see it like in 6-7 weeks how we're super excited for RJ Harvey, but right now, yeah, he's barely playable. It's like PPR RB4 type of stuff.
Yeah. And I thought it would start slow, but I thought we'd get there. I mean, Dobbins has obviously played well, and then we just haven't had no run out
I just
for
didn't think
him.
it'd be a 3-man committee. I mean, they keep playing other dudes.
Yeah, McLaughlin was up
getting run
last week.
Yeah.
Gross.
All right, let's move to the Colts at Chargers. This is one of those games. Now, I can see this playing out a couple different ways, but I like both of the ways for tournaments. So this game, I'm excited about Jonathan Taylor, who's not going to be super owned. He's very expensive.
Because he's so expensive, but so good.
So expensive. But dude, I mean, they are going to try to get him going here, and they've been so like the formula that they have has been so effective. And I don't think that the Chargers are really going to be able to push them off of what the game plan is, which is going to be to establish Jonathan Taylor and then have an efficient passing attack, bunch of play action off of that. It's really well designed. They don't have like a super, it's like some of these rushing offenses, but then they do like a lot of the smart things. Like it really, you can be run heavy and be very efficient and be sharp. And Shane Steichen is proving that. I just don't think that the Chargers are going to be able to push them off of their game plan on defense. I do think that maybe the Chargers offense can push the Colts to shift, but the Chargers run defense ranks 26th in the DVOA, 23rd in EPA, 20th in success rate. So the Colts are going to do the Colts thing. They have the highest play action rate in the league, super efficient on play action, 11th highest in motion. They have a pretty decent pass rate on 1st and 10, so they're not just like slamming the ball into the line. They're taking advantage of neutral situations to prioritize Daniel Jones's efficiency, but then Jonathan Taylor is ultimately the engine of the offense. Mm-hmm. So in a lot of ways, like if you just look at the simplest, Colts offense versus Chargers defense, I really do like this spot a lot for Jonathan Taylor, and I like it a lot for Tyler Warren, who I view as kind of, this piece where with their front running, he's going to be involved in play action. He's a huge part of their play action game as a receiver, also as a run blocker. But then when they fake the run, he's out there catching passes. Has been great. But obviously, if they were to get pushed to the air, Warren could benefit there too. So I think it's a great spot for Warren, a great spot for Taylor. And we'll talk about the Chargers in a bit. But what do you view on the Colts side?
Yeah, and Colts have already ruled out Downs and Ashton Dulin.
Right.
So it kind of pushes stuff.
He's back.
Yeah, well, he's back, but also like he's back in a different capacity because it's Downs that's out. And so he's not going to have though. When we were excited to chase Adonai when Pierce was out, it's because Pierce plays a role where he's on the field every snap. Yeah, and that's not going to happen now. Like even if they move Pittman into the slot in 3 wide receiver stuff, it still means Adonai is not going to play. He's only going to play in 11 persernel still,
and he is not playing over Pierce and Pittman ever in 12. Like they're just
yeah. So we're not chasing that this time. No, because of the guy that's out. So I think it just pushes stuff to me, just Pittman and Warren. I think that those guys get the concentrated stuff. So Jesse Minter and like his style of play, like they're at the bottom of the league in man coverage. They're top 6 in cover 3, cover 4 quarters. They're predicated on not allowing big plays. They're 3rd in the NFL in completion rate, a lot on throws 10 or more yards downfield. The Colts have the guys for this. Like they do. Like they'll throw a bunch of 8-yard passes to Michael Pittman and throw a bunch of play action passes to Tyler Warren. Like they have the dudes for this. So I think the Colts are going to do just what they do, to be honest. I think it's because the Chargers have gotten flooded the past 2 weeks by explosive runners. I mean, literally the same line back-to-back games, 150 yards and 2 touchdowns to Dollar Bill, Krosky Merritt, and then 150 yards and 2 touchdowns to Devin Achane last week. And now they're facing, Jonathan Taylor. So sets up really good. Tyler Warren's cooked against all those coverages that we talked about. I mean, he leads the team with 35% of the targets, 3.9 yards per run. Just it's not a great matchup for tight ends because of Derwin James stuff, but like it's Tyler Warren. Like he's like not a guy like where you're like gonna get like over like it's one of those matchups where it's like a strength on strength matchups where he can win still too. So
Totally.
yeah, so I'm in on the pay up for Warren, especially in tournaments. I'm in on the pay up for Jonathan Taylor in tournaments. I like Pittman as a cheap play. Like he has a few 20-point games already too. So I just think it's that we remove downs, like those two guys are going to benefit.
I like the Colts here. The only reason I wouldn't, it's funny because I could see the Colts struggling from a team level, but then it's not bad for Warren and Pittman, and then maybe even Taylor because he's catching passes a little bit more.
Yep.
Where what happens is that the Chargers are actually very good on offense here and are kind of able to push the Colts off of this very this is the type of offense where everything's kind of like fine-tuned. It's like it's they're getting efficient. It's like kind of the Seahawks are doing. Like they're getting really efficient play out of the quarterback, but they're limiting. It's very kind of like curated on offense on from the drop back offense. And it's built around really strong. It's kind of like the Packers play like this too. Like we're going to have the strong running game. We're going to lean on the running game. Packers lean on the running game too much sometimes. That's how you lose to the Browns. And they but we're not in the business of like just dropping back a bunch and exposing our quarterback in obvious drop back situations. There's no reason that they would do that here from the defensive matchup, but I do have some hope that the Chargers could push them. And one of the reasons that I have that hope is that Charvarius Ward is out. He's just been ruled out.
Yeah.
And Kenny Moore, LP, DNP. He's missed the last 3 games. So they have these 2 backup cornerbacks that I wrote up because Xavier Howard retired. So they're down him.
And Jalen Jones, they lost in the preseason.
So they're down to this dude, Edwards, Jonathan Edwards, and Mekhi Blackman. Blackman, I was looking at rate of yards allowed in primary coverage per coverage snap. Blackman ranks 95th there, and Edwards ranks 111th, which is 4th worst at the position. So these dudes, and these are your 2 outside cornerbacks because they got this dude Lamons who plays in the slot, and he's actually been really good, replacing Kenny Moore. But if it's both of these guys as their primary outside cornerbacks, and maybe the Chargers get Joe Alt back, who got an unlimited practice yesterday. I haven't seen the practice report for him yet. But we've got the first of these 2 dominoes was, do we get both of the backup cornerbacks? Moore is questionable. He's not officially out, but he DNP'd today, so I think he probably doesn't play. I like the Chargers passing game here. Like, and the Chargers passing game maybe isn't fragile because they could either get there and win through the pass, because I think that's the path of least resistance here. That it's a weak pass rush, not super weak, but it's not a great pass rush. And now the secondary looks like one to target. But also you could get there in trailing script if Jonathan Taylor puts it on them and they're trailing the whole game. Now all of a sudden my Charger stacks maybe even look better. So I like the Chargers a lot more than I thought it would. As I dug into these cornerback injuries, it's like, oh man, this potentially unlocks something here. A secondary, and look, that the Colts have been like okay on defense, but they haven't really played that many people. The offense that they've gone against, like they could get exposed by a good offense. I would really like if Joe Alt plays. That would make.
Well, they've given
feel
up
a lot
big
more
games
confident.
to Knicks and Stafford.
Yeah, but I mean, if they've played the Dolphins.
No, it's
Broncos,
Herbert can get him.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, Rams, Raiders, and Brissett.
Yeah,
this defense
and Brissett was good. And Brissett was good against them. And yeah, when Ward left the game, Arizona wide receivers caught 14 of 18 targets for 164 yards and a touchdown. That was with Marv leaving early. Like it was Zay Jones and Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch. Like Zay Jones was eating, man. So. Same thing, and it looks like QJ is going to be back. He took it to like the 11th. He took it to like the 11th hour last week, like to pregame, and then they shut it down. But he's already practicing.
He was full practice yesterday.
Yep. So yeah, I would go back to him in this matchup. I mean, I know it's kind of whack-a-mole, like, but he he was still trending towards the being like the alpha role. Like even when the A dot shrunk, like when Joe Alt got hurt, that was like that was his highest like first read target game, was like the game Alt got hurt. And it was like, man, like he's starting to get it all. It's all coming together. He picks up that injury. We don't see McConkey's been fine the last 2 weeks, but like he had the week before he had just a touchdown, and then last week he was okay, and then he had the 40-yard catch and run that sealed the game. Awesome play by Hassan Haskins on that play too, who did not win the hot hand award, but he was huge on that play though for McConkey. I don't know if you saw it. Like
No,
he made the block for Herbert in the backfield first, and then he passed up Vlad McConkey and threw a block downfield. Like,
oh wow,
it was an incredible play, like absolutely bonkers, man. But he did not win the backfield hot hand for him.
He didn't. Well, what's your read on that? Is this Vidal's backfield, or is he just the hot hand last week?
I think he will have the first go. I don't think it's quite a Michael Carter situation, or like Michael Carter was bad, and then like, because I remember writing up Michael Carter last week, like, man, this dude
He was
even
really
good.
bad.
Like he wasn't even good. Like this feels very fragile. Vidal at least like turned in explosives, contributed in the pass game. Like, is there some volatility here? Yeah, it came against the Dolphins. Yes, he lost yards on 20% of his runs. Is it still a bad offensive line? Yes, but like the Colts aren't very good against the run either.
No.
So I think he's gonna have first crack at it, but like, could we still see some hijinks like inside the 5? Do I think he's like an open and shut case to where like he's gonna have like 80% of the backfield touches? I don't either, but I do think he's gonna have first crack at rolling over what he showed last week.
Yeah, I view it the same. I think
I'm not really playing him though either.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe I'm like buying into him a little too much. Although you do have the Dowdle thing. It was like sometimes this works, you know.
Yeah,
It's just
sometimes
like
it works.
but yeah, I'm kind of torn on. I may end up playing him. I'm
I
not
might
sure yet.
pivot to him. So like if I am
Yeah,
playing,
that's a
so
good
like
call. A little late
because this
flop.
game is a pivot game. Because
Right.
if you're rostering Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, you gotta and you're chasing points, like Vidal's your JCM pivot if you're
Totally.
doing Javonte.
Totally.
So like you gotta keep him in mind for that,
You
because you
start
can't
with
go up.
your Cowboys and
Yeah.
Commander stacks, and then you end up playing Chargers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the way. This is the pivot game. It's indoors. It's a high total, tight spread game. It checks all the boxes, but it's just getting dwarfed by this Commanders Cowboys game.
I really like this game though. So yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
me too.
I'll just start with Cowboys Commanders and end up pivoting, because you're gonna end up pivoting. You know, those
But they're just outright pieces I like. Like I said, I like the 3 core Colts a lot, anyways. Like even if you
right.
play one, if you like whatever fits your build. I kind of like QJ still, especially in this slate in large field stuff. And then Vidal's going to be your pivot guy if you're playing JCM or Javonte.
I like this game so much that I think I can win a tournament with this game and 13 points from Saquon Barkley.
Yes. But no quit shot duckets.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the Chargers at Commanders. What I mean, there's a million ways to tackle this game. I'll throw this one to you.
Yeah, I mean the Cowboys, it's every team, right? Like it's everybody. I mean, Bryce Young had 8 yards per pass attempt, and like he only had 18 and a half fantasy points, but like when you that's like transitive property, that's like 30.
Yeah, for Bryce Young,
That's
yeah,
like
it's like
30 fantasy points.
fantasy Bryce
Like,
points over expected.
yeah. It's the run, it's the pass. They're the Dolphins, right? Like they're it's the same thing, man. Like
Yeah.
in this game is everything. It's got almost a 55 point total. Cowboys games are averaging 799.2 combined yards per game. That's highest rate in the league. And then Washington,
I hope so.
but Washington's 4th. They're allowing their games average 702.5
Wow.
combined yards. Their defense stinks too.
They
Especially
do.
now they're going to stopping the run, because early on they were just like, it was like, oh, they're a pass funnel. Like they're great they're giving up all these yards because they're making teams throw against them. And then Monday night it was like, well, whatever you want to do, we'll allow it. So like it's one of these games. I'm curious to play this game with the Washington injuries. Well, that's the interesting component to this game, right? Is the Terry McLaurin's still out. Debo's clearly dealing with this heel injury, and then the Cowboys are getting CeeDee Lamb back. How does that, impact the early run out for guys that have been great value plays in terms of Jake Ferguson and George Pickens. Like those are the things in motion. My preferred way to play this, I think, is through the Dallas passing side. And
Me
then if
too.
I'm doing the Washington stuff, I actually think playing Daniels and JCM just together to get all the touchdowns is my preferred way to do it. Because I don't want to play Luke McCaffrey. I don't want to play Chris Moore. I don't want to play Zach Ertz. And I know you guys, there are like everyone, you guys all want to play Zach Ertz. I know it. But
Well, I mean, I'm fine with it.
yeah, I know. But like,
I'm not gonna argue against it.
yeah. And that's fine. That's fine. I just like how so many other tight ends. But I think if you're going to do Washington, you do Daniels plus JCM and you just hope you get all the touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I assume you would. I guess maybe Jeremy McNichols or something. But I mean, Daniels is going to be pretty chalky and is a great play, only 6,900. But yeah, I mean, he's not as stackable, and Dak can go off here.
Yes.
Dak can have a huge game and so much easier to stack. CD Lamb, I was kind of hoping maybe people would not get to him, but I think with as much projection based stuff, DFS is really driven by projections. Now I think he's going to project really well.
Oh,
so people will play him. And they should. Did you see this the pictures from practice, I think Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, he talked about he could have played last week.
Schottenheimer, I think it was his 52nd birthday. He was exclaiming. It was like one of these things where like Schottenheimer exclaimed after this photo, this quote, and then another reporter was like, he said after this picture, this other quote, but he kept telling anyone who would listen that CeeDee Lamb back at practice was his birthday gift. And he was taking pictures with Lamb, like he was posing for pictures with his own receiver. Like, you guys are together constantly. Like, why are you seizing this opportunity to get a picture with your own receiver? Like, what's happening? But they were like stoked to have Lamb back. And then they've since been reports that, he's definitely playing and he's going to play a lot. I think he's back. I think like I'm treating this as like Lamb is actually back. So I'm not.
They said no
personally
restrictions.
fading. No restrictions. Yeah.
And it's a great spot for his, like, where he wins to come back to. Because like the one thing Washington does, they can generate a little bit of a pass rush.
Yep.
And what in turn that has done is like they give up the bag to tight ends and slot receivers. And he's like a 50-50 player. Like he moonlights inside outside. So he's walking back into like a pristine spot to just have a lot of targets and like a game environment we're excited about. And it's on a slate where we're missing so many high-end wide receivers. That's why I think people will still get to him too, we're just missing so many receivers.
But does the Daniels value keep him? Like, if I would just want to play, okay, you're telling me got the highest game total, game total of the week. Both teams here have implied team totals of 26 plus points. These guys will be pushing each other's points. Going to be available for both teams, but like Dak CD is not going to be like uber popular because of the Dak side. I mean, CD will be plenty popular, but I can just play it through Dak CD and not be eating like a huge amount of chalk. That seems pretty fun.
Yeah, seems great. And Dak for a pocket passer, I mean, he's got 3 straight weeks as a top 6 scorer, and he's been a top 6 scorer in 4 of his past 5 games. Like he's had like an immense ceiling for a pocket passer.
He's been awesome.
It's because the defense stinks too. And like,
yeah,
these games have so many plays and so many points. But the Commanders this year have allowed the most fantasy points to both Geno Smith and Michael Penix on their resume. And they're 24th in passing points allowed per game. So it's like I love Dak here a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Dak's second in EPA per game. He's been fantastic. I mean, you look at like, okay, they lose CeeDee Lamb. What's going to happen now? And obviously, like, there's no way Dak's going to be able to keep up what he was doing when he had Lamb, except he was like much, much more efficient over the last 3 weeks than he was to start the year. To start the year, he was in the 58th, 67th, and 40th percentile in EPA per play. Loses Lamb, goes 94th, 88th, and 96th percentile over the last 3 weeks. He gets a tie, a win, and a loss over those 3 weeks. It's pretty frustrating. I mean, he's playing out of his mind and is going 500 in a 3-game sample somehow. But he has been playing so good. It's a good matchup. I agree. I mean, the pass rush is the one thing that you have to worry about here. But the Cowboys have pass protected well. They're preventing quick pressure at the second highest rate. second best rate, I should say. Fifth best against pressure. They're ranked fourth in pass block win rate. So I feel pretty good about their ability to hold up. Dak has been really good against the blitz. He's been good against the blitz his entire career. The Commanders blitz the eighth highest rate per drop back. So maybe we get some big plays against the blitz here.
And we get to see him play against Dan Quinn last year. He didn't play in either game.
Oh, that's a good point. That's interesting. Yeah, so I
obviously
mean,
they're familiar. Obviously Dan Quinn's familiar with him.
Sure. Pickens is, I think doing the DFS show with Davis and Neil and Squirrel Patrol, we were kind of like, Pickens, our big brains overpaying for Pickens is actually quite smart. We're very, very smart. But like, what if the actual good play is just to pay $200 more for CD Lamb?
Well, it is. I think it's all about who else are you bringing with Dak if you're doing a double, because that's where the conundrum kind of comes, right? I feel like this particular matchup sets up better for Ferguson, but
do you need to double him?
No, you don't. But you can also, I think, in small field, I think I'm going to onslaught the shit out of this game in a single entry.
Yeah,
I'm going to play like 6 dudes from this game, like 6 or 7 guys.
Well, do you think that I know you said you don't want to play them, but do you think they're viable, the cheapies on the Washington side?
I mean, it's the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I'm not going to rule out anyone. The problem is like, so Chris Moore.
This is if Samuel's out. Samuel needs to be
out. I'm assuming Samuel is going to play still because he did practice, but he just didn't look good on Monday. That was a scary part,
Right.
He didn't the week before though. He didn't practice and like look great, and then Monday it was like, oh, this looks like it's really bothering him. Like he didn't look right. But he did practice.
Oh, he did get limited. DNP, DNP,
LP. Yeah, he was limited today in practice. They already ruled McLaurin out. So I mean, you can do a little Debo. The problem with the other guys is like, so Chris Moore is directly playing for Terry McLaurin. Is like playing that position.
Right.
But he's also not getting any targets. He did have a touchdown last week, but he's not getting any targets. And then they're splitting the other reps between Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane 50-50. Like they're literally doing this, they're like rotating these dudes. Luke McCaffrey has had a huge play in each game, like just a huge play. He obviously has an uncovered touchdown on Monday night. He had a 50-yard catch against the Chargers. He had a touchdown against the Falcons, but like he's on the field for 30% of the, like he has 3 touchdowns and 8 touches. Like it's just so tough, man. It's just so hard to like chase
his target numbers are like exactly the same as Jalen Lane's.
Yes,
he's just run really hot.
Yes, he's just run pure. So it's like really hard to chase those whack-a-mole dudes. I would say if you're making me, that's where I would say I would rather play Ertz than one of those guys. But
let me ask you this. So this was not on my radar when I wrote up the walkthrough because we had Chris Rodriguez, DNP, then Friday, full practice, not on the injury report. So yeah, and I just Googled it. He is good to go. He's cleared for week 7. He does not carry an injury designation. Does that change anything for you with dollar bill?
Yeah, maybe just because of the fumbles, but he fumbled back-to-back games. You do like that they went back to him both times. He fumbled and then immediately was on the field again. Like it wasn't like he came back in like a quarter later and like missed a couple drives. Like immediately came back in. And the last play
fumble. The Jaden Daniels. That was Jaden Daniels.
Well, he fumbled earlier in the game too.
No, right. But the second fumble was Daniels.
Oh, but he fumbled against the Chargers. I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, it's the Chargers.
2 weeks in a row. And then he still had the huge game. So he liked that they stuck with him. So 2 weeks in a row, he has lost a fumble. And then, the last one wasn't his. It was the exchange. But he keeps ramping up. I mean, he still is, I believe, their best back. And like it was only a matter of time, like till like he did take over. So
I agree with that. It's just.
Yeah, it does. It does add a wrinkle.
Projections will account for this eventually, but
it adds a wrinkle for sure, man. I mean, this is the matchup to have him. Like, I mean, the big games the Cowboys are allowing to running backs, like not even like nickel and like we were talking about the Titans a little bit. Like, I mean, they're giving up like huge games. The running backs, like 240 yards to Rico Dowdle, 155 yards to Breece Hall, 157 yards and 2 touchdowns to Josh Jacobs. Like, these are huge games.
Breece Hall was just like gashing them, and then he fumbled. But it's just like, this is a good matchup for JCM.
Yeah, and the price is right. He unlocks a lot because there was a Monday night, so he is priced. Priced the same. He does unlock a lot. Like I said, you do have pivots if you are overexposed to him, you can go to Vidal late if you need to.
Yep.
So they're out still too, but I
No,
think
it's a good call.
he's tough to avoid, but I think you're right on saying like, hey, if Chris Rodriguez is playing, it just adds a different wrinkle to element that could play out.
Yeah, I bring it up because he's not projected maybe as like mega chalk right now, but I think he could end up being pretty chalky. So, especially like if Debo, well, I guess Debo is going to play. What are your thoughts on Debo? Because he looks like he might be chalky and didn't get in a full practice this week. Did look limited by the heel injury. Like for DFS, are you?
I'm probably only gonna play him like in I think like aggressive builds of this game, and then try to come off if he's still tracking to be this popular for the whole
Yeah.
weekend. But I'm obviously gonna be playing some like single injury onslaughts of this game from both sides. I'll actually have I think more Cowboys just spread out overall in my player pool though, like in non like builds of this game. Like I might actually just 100% Lamb, to be honest. I might just play him in every lineup.
I don't hate it. The thing with Ferguson, because when from a matchup perspective, he's had this like crazy low A dot,
Oh,
and we
dude,
saw
if the volume ever gets compromised, he's the dude that's screwed.
he's true, but I don't think it does. I think there's going to
Yeah.
be plenty of drop back volume here, and I actually think that the fact that the Commanders can rush the passer a little bit could get him back in that low A dot role, because last week he was at a 10.3 A dot. It was the only time he hasn't been peppered with targets. His other A dots was 6, 6.3, 3.3, 3.1, 3.1. And he's been targeted really heavily, no lower than 21% targets per out run in those first 5 games, and peaking at 48% in week 3, and he had 41% in week 5. So he just got absolutely fed targets. Part of that's Lamb's out, but Lamb played in the week 2 and I believe in week 3, right? So
Yeah.
he, it wasn't
Week
all.
1 and 2, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
'Cause he got
28%
hurt
targets per
literally
run in
like
week 2,
the first
right
drive.
in the beginning of week 3. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So still 21% targets per run to start, and then 28 for Ferguson in those games with Lamb. And I think part of his value to the offense has been helping Dak get the ball very quickly when there is a pass rush to worry about, which this matchup sets up. So from that perspective, I'm like, oh, okay, Jake Ferguson, this could be good, but he's 5,500. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah. So I think Dak singles and maybe some Bill and maybe Daniels stacks. You could do Daniels, Debo, Bill with CD. Is that
Yeah.
pretty
That's
chalky?
I like Daniels. Yeah,
Hurts.
that's what I'm not probably doing Ertz either for the like I like Daniels and dollar bill together and then
Yeah.
Debo added on to that.
Yeah.
The way to play it. That's why I like to do the commander side. I'm not really gonna chase the Lukes and the
No,
Jalen
I
Lanes
I
at this
don't think I'm
point.
either. But man, there's so many good spots in that game, and then you can play Pickens for sure.
Oh
He's
yeah, I don't want to
expensive
say
at
you couldn't,
7,300.
yeah. But
Talk about a pivot, right? You after you swing and miss
also,
and it
yeah, if
really
you're
sticks.
ahead with Lamb,
Yeah,
if you're ahead or if you're behind, I'm sorry, if you're behind with Lamb,
go to Pickens.
you've got to play Pickens.
Yeah. So you got a pivot game and a pivot wide receiver. All right,
It's a
let's
big
move.
late swap slate for sure,
It's a
man.
big late swap slate for sure. Yeah. This final game, I don't think it's going to be as fun to late swap to. To me, the
Yeah, we
the
should save
premium late
Cowboys for
swap
last.
game. What'd you say? Yeah, we
Should save
should
the
have.
Cowboys for the end.
We really should have. Um, the key late swap game, as we covered, is the Chargers, but and the Colts, but Packers Cardinals. You could do some Jacobs here. That's in play. What jumps out to you about this game?
Yeah, just well, I think the mini that the McBride Jacobs stuff is in play. Jacobs, man, like his usage is going crazy right now. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not just like last year where he's getting like all the touches, right? Or he's getting 20. He's like involved as a pass catcher now.
He is, yeah.
And I don't know if that's a Jaden Reed thing or if it's just like been kind of, but it's been static for 3 games in a row. Like, because he'd
After
always
like
pop up
no
once in a
usage to
while.
begin the year.
If a none.
Yeah,
None. And then he's got 5 catches, 4 catches, 5 catches over in the yards. Like, because Jonathan Taylor's gotten more use as a pass catcher this year, but he still has a lot of games where it's like he's getting some checkdowns for like 4 for 14, like stuff
right.
like that. But like Jacobs, man, like 44 yards, 71 yards, 57 yards. Like these are big. These are like on top of his rushing and touchdown equity. It's like very significant. Like if this holds up, like he looks like actually he honestly he looks like Jonathan Taylor. And you
Mm-hmm.
know the Cardinals just faced Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
Gave him 140 yards and a touchdown to him. I think the Cardinal stuff is really interesting. I'll let you circle back to Jacobs in a second because we had talked about this a few times. I think we brought it up on this show that the marriage, the intersection of Drew Petzing, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Kyler, like there's something up. And it's like maybe if you isolate some of these other elements, we can get some more truths revealed. And I came away last week a lot more confident in Drew Petzing. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see like what the Cardinals do today without Kyler Murray. And we got to see Brissett play under center for 50% of his dropbacks. Kyler's at a 23% under center rate. And what can you do? We talked about Jalen Hurts. When you're able to play under center, you can do more cool things, like especially
Yeah.
against this current defensive meta. So, you know, with Murray taking so many shotgun snaps, they only use play action on 21% of Murray's dropbacks. He's in shotgun so much. Well, Brissett was at 41%, fourth highest rate in the league. On his play action passes, he was 12 of 18, 8.1 yards or pass attempt. When they didn't use play action, 15 of 26, 57%, 6.7 yards per pass attempt. This is not a pro Jacoby Brissett versus the Packers thing. It was just like functionality of the offense. If they're going
The
to,
offense is actually working as designed.
and that is like a huge signal for Trey McBride. So, you know, Trey McBride even before last week led the NFL in target rate on play action passes. So it was like it's like the thing we talk about like Harold Fan and like he's getting all these targets, he just needs the routes. Well,
Yep.
McBride was getting all of these play action targets, they just weren't running play action. Now, if that's the plan to run more play action, and we'll see if it holds up, you know, being underdogs, because I mean he has 43% of the team targets on play action passes. He leads the NFL. And also the matchup is like the only position that's like getting over on the Packers is the tight end position. They've allowed good games to Ferguson, Zach Ertz, Laporta, even Tanner Hudson scored a touchdown against them last week. So I do like the mini because no one's paying up at tight end. That's why we brought up the thing with Warren. But we have some tight ends that are actually in context of the slate, wide receivers. Like Tyler Warren to me is a wide receiver. Trey McBride's a wide receiver to me.
For sure.
And the wide receivers that are going to get played at the price point on DraftKings, especially at the price point of these tight ends, aren't as good as these guys. So it makes them intriguing plays, I think, in tournaments where you would play one of these guys with Fannin or with Michael Mayer.
I like it. I like that call a lot. The when I wrote up this game, I came away feeling like it has some real potential for Brissett to turn into a pumpkin.
Sure.
Where you go against the Colts and you look okay, and then you go against the Packers, and the Packers haven't had like the dominant pass rush that we were expecting, but like you look at Parsons and all the numbers, he's still awesome. They might be without Wyatt in this game, which would hurt their interior pass rush, but this is still a dangerous defense to go against. And like,
right.
Look at Brissett last year; like he stunk. And I know he was against, he was behind the Patriots offensive line, but like May was much more efficient than Brissett last season in the same situation. Obviously, May's a lot better, but like he was quite poor. He was like kind of like around where Jake Browning was before he got benched this year in terms of Brissett's efficiency.
Oh yeah.
Last year, he's got he had worse EPA per game than Dylan Gabriel has this year, Brissett last year. So the floor, I think, is really low for Brissett in this matchup. At the same time, I'm like, okay, the floor is like looking at kind of the game level, like, yikes. Then you get down to McBride, and it's just like, yeah, it probably doesn't matter. He's going to get fed targets. Like, you just don't see this at tight end. So, yeah, I mean, he had 27% targets per outrun last week. They're actually passing the ball a little bit more. They had a 69% pass rate last week. They've had a lean to the pass all season, actually.
Yeah, they can't run.
They can't run. Yeah, they're not going to be able to run with Bam Knight and Michael Carter here. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So I really like McBride here. I don't have
That's
much.
it though.
That's it. I'm not interested in like doing a sneaky little stack or something with Brissett. Like I think Brissett's gonna be pretty bad, but I think McBride still gets there.
Exactly. I think Brissett could throw for 165 yards, and we get 90 of them to Trey McBride, and maybe 12 targets to him.
12 targets. Yeah, let's go.
12 targets to McBride. Yeah, I like it as a mini. And I'm not going to exclusively play 2 tight end. This would be DraftKings only, not on FanDuel either. But just because a lot of people are going to be paying for receivers in that same price point, and
Why wouldn't you play McBride on FanDuel?
No, I mean you can, but like,
No, I'm kidding,
well,
'cause he does
he has
score
2 touchdowns, man. He has 2 touchdowns. Like we're ahead of the pace, man. We're doing real good.
He actually does score touchdowns.
Yeah, he might score 6 this year. Like
Wow.
we are okay. We got 2. But no, I mean because on FanDuel, like you don't get the run out for like the fan and Michael Mayer stuff, like as you do on DraftKings, whereas like you can pay because I think Fannin and Mayer also are going to have target shares that are wide receiver adjacent.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why I think it's okay. I'm not telling everyone to play 2 tight ends. Like I get it. It's donkey stuff. But like in particular with that quartet of guys,
it's not always donkey stuff. It depends on the slate and who's available and what the prices are.
These are guys that I'm projecting to have 25 plus target shares though. Like,
yeah,
all these guys. And you're talking about the wide receiver spot, like some of the receivers that are priced at, the 5,500 range, on DraftKings, and then you're getting a 3K guy, if in between 3 and 4K guys over there, like you're going to get a lot of like ownership on these guys. Obviously, Rashee Rice is fine. I'm going to play him too, but yeah, that's just it. So I like those guys there, but it's really it. And then the Packers we saw it last week. Like when they get ahead, they just run the ball. They just run the ball, man. Like they just run the ball.
Yeah, they do.
So.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of interest in the Packers passing game. Honestly, looking at the numbers, post-buy bump for Golden didn't really happen. He had a good game.
He was just good with opportunities.
He was just good with the normal opportunity that he normally gets. And then Romeo Doubs was the guy. He had a 30% targets per out run last week. I think like I ranked Doubs as a wide receiver 3 and Golden as a wide receiver 4 this week. So Golden's more exciting and I think eventually becomes the number 1, but he's not really now. And then Trey Tucker, or Tucker Kraft, Trey Tucker, geez. Tucker Kraft, he keeps scoring more points than his expected points say he should, but I don't have a lot of interest in him either.
No, I had more interest in him last week based on the matchup. I mean, he's gone over 5 targets one time.
Yeah. So give me Warren for 300 more. Or find a way to get to McBride, or I'll go down. Then there's lots of guys that I'm interested in.
But McBride's definitely not going to be popular. Warren will get some popularity, and then he has some late stuff swap. But like, I think if I'm actually chasing with some Warren stuff too, I might go to McBride. If like I'm chasing points.
Yeah.
Because he's tracking like the stuff I have like single digit ownership, half of Warren's ownership, and not that Warren's gonna be super chalky either, but he's gonna be half of Warren's. But he's also has 500 more.
And I think that
he's only 200 more than Jake Ferguson, though.
I mean, yeah, but McBride, like Ferguson's a bet on the game environment. McBride's just a bet on him getting 12 targets, which I think is
and if
like
we're going
to
even have more play action and more under center stuff, I think that helps McBride a lot in this particular matchup too.
But Fannin opening up, I think, definitely makes it much harder for people to get up to McBride. Where you're like, well, if I'm betting on a guy to get 12 targets, why don't I just take the guy who's at 3,900?
Easy.
So
I'm gonna definitely have more of him as well. I feel like I definitely don't want to. I want to come in over if it ends up holding 7-8% of McBride. I think I want to be higher. I definitely want to be higher
for sure, though. For sure. Yeah, no, I like that call. I think it's a good call. One guy we didn't talk about as I'm just looking at my tight end stuff. I do want to mention on the Eagles side, we talked about how
we didn't. The only thing Patullo has done is get the ball.
Yeah, the only thing you did say it, but we didn't spend much time on Goddard, and I think he is actually semi interesting. Maybe at 4,500, not like I don't know. I probably don't end up playing him, but I wanted to circle back to him quickly because he fits this matchup well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same thing. And they're running the new the wide receiver or the tight end pass tush push now, which is that underhand stack. Like,
do you think that's why they're struggling? They spent all offseason just doing wrinkles of the tush push, and they're like, hey,
because we've seen a few, right? Like we saw the Saquon one a couple weeks ago. where they ran the.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. They had the flip to him. It's like that's all Kevin's been working on. It's not. It's like, hey, we need like you have those new drop back plays for me, Kevin. Like, yeah, I'll get you those, but check out these 3 more wrinkles on the tush push.
What if we built the whole playbook out of tush push variations? We did the whole thing out of it.
If they ban the tush push, we're gonna have 31 NFL franchises. They're gonna have to shut down the Eagles. That's all they got right now.
It's definitely getting banned this year too.
I think it is. I think when they did it 4 times in a row, that was it. That was the final nail in the coffin.
And when everyone was just like, "Hey," the guards went off sides every single time. Like,
but they won't call it still. They still don't call it.
But they call it on other teams.
On other teams. Yeah, it's
last
crazy.
Night we had one. We had one last night where the Flacco did a sneak and they called the false start.
Yep. Yeah, but they don't call it on the Eagles. It's nuts.
It is crazy, man. It's
I hope Saquon nukes this week, wins me some money, and then I can root against the Eagles again. That's
But overall, I think this is a fun slate. It's a weird slate of games, like from like a real football perspective, but like also from a DFS slate, it feels like there's more unique ways to play this than there's been so far the last few weeks.
I agree. I was not my favorite write-up of the year, but then taking it to the DFS prices and projected ownership and stuff, I'm like, I like this slate a lot. I think this is a really fun slate. Probably means I'm gonna punt off everything I put in.
Yeah, probably. But like I said, I mean, I'm gonna mix in some 2 tight end builds. I'm gonna mix in some because the other thing too is our first pay up quarterback week.
Yep.
Like we haven't really had we've been playing Drake May a lot so far.
Last week, none of them were on the
none of them were on the slate.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to play Mahomes and Jaden Daniels and
yeah, it's the first pay up slate, but I'm gonna have Spencer Rattler double stacks.
This is the way. So it's a Rattler double stacks with Saquon. We did it. We cracked the
yeah.
As Jonathan Taylor runs in 4 touchdowns. Like, and the Cowboys game is 65 combined points.
And naked Dak takes it down.
Yeah.
It's gonna be something crazy.
Yeah, we got our 18 Rattler points though. We did it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
All right, man. Tell people what you got going on with the worksheet and sharp football analysis.
Yeah, sharp football analysis over there, writing up all these games. Somehow we didn't cover a player you wanted us to cover. We did. I did write all of them up, so you can definitely check that out. I'll also have my condensed player pool available this weekend too. We post that on the site every week as well. So week 7, if you're still in managed league streets, this is a halfway point. Be prepared because next week we have the Bipocalypse. So me and Pat will have a nice light week with 3 fewer games.
I'm going away for the weekend. We'll still be doing the pot, but I'm gonna take off Friday afternoon. I'm like, I'm already anticipating the later week. It's nice. Bipocalypse is nice if you cover all the games. But check out the walkthrough at Legendary Upside. Cover all these games as well. Also, we'll be publishing the London game walkthrough. Matt Irby covering in an article called The Quick Slant, the Sunday night game. And then we've got the Monday night doubleheader that I'll be writing up as well. So got you covered. Also have rankings and all that good stuff. So over at Legendary Upside, check it out. And we will be back here next week to preview week 8. Thanks for watching and good luck in week 7.